Recording in progress.
Good morning, everyone. I am experiencing challenges. I'm using my phone. I'm trying. Please, I will have more than one gadget. Allow me in. Am I audible?
Morning, Chair. Yes, you are audible.
Yes, you
Thank
are
you.
audible.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson, members of the committee and colleagues. Chairperson, we may start. It's 9 o'clock.
Thank you so much. Just allow me on the other gadget as well. Honorable members, I would like to welcome each and everyone and say thank you for your presence. I see that the agenda is flighted. Is it possible that we get a proposal as well as a seconder and a seconder to start the meeting? So the agenda in front of us, we are going to deal with the tabling of report oversight to Eastern Cape. We will also consider the adoption of minutes as well as the consideration and adoption of the budgetary review.
I propose the adoption of the agenda as it is, Chair. And
Thank you so much. We do have a proposal which is Honorable Mpetwa.
Honorable Nkosi, seconding, Chair.
Who's seconding?
And Honorable Nkosi.
Honorable Nkosi, thank you so much.
Seconding, yes.
Thank you so much for that. The following, may I just ask, yes, Soleka?
Chair, can you mute the other gadgets volume? It's affecting.
Okay, is it better now, Honorable?
Yes, it is, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you so much. My extreme apologies. May I just, can they just flight the agenda for us again? Thank you so much. Honorable members, is there any apologies from the member side, PC Secretary?
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. No, Chair, we didn't receive any apologies on our side. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Is there any apologies from the ministry? Is the ministry present?
No, Chair, this meeting is the committee meeting, so the department was not invited to the meeting.
Okay,
Thank you,
okay,
Chair.
thank you. I just want to get ourselves clear cut. Then members, I would like to say welcome to all of you and thank you so far for the work up until the BRRR under very difficult circumstances. And thank you so much for the contribution of the professional staff, the contribution, inputs, and a rebuttal of each and every single member that has played a role. May I then also ask to start for the consideration and the adoption of the committee meetings. I would ask the PC Secretary to flight it and then we can go through that. Sure, my signal is terrible.
Thank you, Chairperson. We have the minutes of the 15th of October, where we had the consideration and adoption of committee minutes, as well as a report back by the department on action plan regarding boxing South Africa, briefing by the department for the first quarter performance, and briefing by the Auditor General on the audit outcomes of the department, as well as the briefing by the SARA on the report. Thank you.
Thank you so much. PC Secretary, that was mainly briefings. I take it for granted that members went through all of these minutes as well as the briefings and whether it is a correct reflection of our meetings. Is there anything that any member would like to mention? Please raise your hand, indicate which issue, and then also perhaps declare the problem that you have. Okay, I would think that members went through it. It is mainly just briefings from the various stakeholders. I would ask if there's any proposal that we accept it as it is and approve it. Anyone?
Chair, I move for the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you so much. Who's that?
It's Honorable
Yes,
Nkosi.
Makhatho is seconding.
Okay, that's honorable. Was that Honorable Malatane?
Honorable Makhatho is the one who's seconding, Chair. Honorable
Oh,
Nkosi, yes, he's
Okay.
the one who's moving for the adoption of the minutes.
Thank
For the
you.
adoption, it's Honorable Nkosi.
Thank you so much. Do we have it like that, Secretary?
Yes, Chairperson, we have it.
Thank you so much. Let's go to the second item.
These are the minutes of the 18th of October, Mr. Chairperson. Excuse me, Chair, I see Ms. Mulotane has her hand up. I'm not sure if she wants to say something.
Ms. Malatane?
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, honorable members. Good morning, parliamentary staff. Chair, I just want to check on the first set of minutes. Also, can we go to the first set of minutes?
The ones that we passed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll allow you, Honorable Malatane, you may proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to check. It's just that also is moving fast. We had one of the recommendation on the issue of boxing South Africa, that the minister must give us a report in 21 days. And up to so far, we haven't had any report, Chair. That's all I want to raise on that issue.
No, what happened there is we summoned him, we had a meeting where he came and report on the issue. That was the report.
Okay, Chair.
Yeah, he did report. It reflects on the minutes. All that we as members have to do is just to follow it up and see whether those report and his findings and recommendations, whether that is implemented.
Excuse me, Chairperson.
Yes, Zoleka.
Yes, Chair, you are correct. The minister did report, and there was also the acting CEO of Boxing South Africa, as well as the COO in that meeting.
Okay, that's correct. Yes. Is
Yes.
that understandable, Honorable Malatane?
Understandable, sir.
Okay. Can we go to the next minute? Is it the 18th?
Yes, Chair, that is correct. These are the minutes of the 18th, the briefing by South African Institute for Drug-Free Sports, the briefing by South African Doping Control Laboratory, and as well as briefing by Basketball South Africa and New Love Life Trust, Chair.
Okay, let's proceed with the pages. Members, if there's anything that you would like to stop, please feel free to do so.
Chairperson, Sizo move very fast.
Yeah, it's fine. We can go slower. I take it for granted that members read through it, make their notes, give their pages, and then we can proceed. That's why Zoleka is doing that. My apologies on her behalf.
Chairperson,
Yes, Honorable Jacobs.
I think it's just excitement for F1, Chairperson. Thank you.
Honorable Malatsane. Okay, go. You may go. Software. $1.7. You may proceed. Proceed. Are there? I think there were issues that members have asked them to write back to us, but I checked. Most of the stuff are included. You may go, Zoleka.
Chair,
Honorable Mtetwa.
under financials,
Yes, I also, okay, you
the
may go.
first paragraph, it says 40,000 instead of 40 million.
It was 50 million actually. Can the research component assist us? I think it was 50 million or 500 million. Is it 50 million or what? Can we do this, Honorable?
Fiona, excuse me, Chair.
I see Fiona's hand is up. Fiona.
Yes.
Fiona, proceed.
Good morning, Chairperson. Sorry, I was just trying to unmute myself, but it is 40 million.
Is it 40 million?
Yeah,
Thank you for
that's
that.
a typo. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you for that, Honorable Mtetwa. Proceed. Proceed to the resolutions. I have dealt with the PC Secretary on the resolutions where we have to write to DSEC, and we will also on a later stage share the responses by them. That's our favorite basketball as well. Proceed. Here we go. Any proposal and seconder for
Chair.
this minute?
Chair.
Who's that? Honorable Molasale?
Yes, I don't know. I think this recommendation of Basketball South Africa is to revise the annual report to include performance indicators and financial statement. And remember, with this report of Basketball South Africa, we
Yes.
didn't even discuss it at all. So I think on a recommendation, it must be reflected that we didn't discuss it based on the pages that were ups and down, not knowing which page going where, which one coming where. It needs to
Honorable,
reflect that.
Honorable Molatane, yeah, I would agree with you, but if we read further to all the other documents that has been sent to us, I think some of the observations and recommendations was that the financial reporting was actually not to the satisfaction. But in terms for this minute, if the PC Secretary can just add it in that fashion to say that the way Honorable Modachane is mentioning it there, that the committee did not, or rather that the Basketball South Africa did not present their financial report, and perhaps with a disclaimer to say their report was not up to standard and did not comply with the requirement.
Yes, sir.
Maybe we can say, Chair, based on the poor quality of report, the committee rejected.
Yes, agree.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Honorable Molotane, and thanks for the inputs there, Honorable Khabo.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not sure if I'm audible.
Yes, you are. Proceed.
No, thanks. There are two things that I wanted to raise, and they are in line with our recommendations. And I believe that our discussions, in a way, must be formulated as a true reflection of our deliberations in the meeting. And to a large extent, sometimes how we are capturing it, it's like we are trying to, I heard the new word the other day, we are trying to sanitize the process. And I would gladly like to believe that we should be clear in terms of basketball. The poor reporting was inconsistent with the framework that we have provided.
Yes.
Because if we say that they need to revise, it's as if they've presented and we have allowed them. So I'd fully agree with members of the committee, but I would want us to be explicitly clear that the poor report was informed by inconsistencies of the framework. But also, Chair,
I fully agree, and in this particular case, it is clear that the basketball is a law unto itself, and what we have seen that there is no ownership from DSEC. So to a greater extent, if we can also say that DSEC must ensure, because DSEC is sponsoring them. They've been given 8 million rand the other day for a tournament. So DSEC must give guidance here. So they can't be, yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah, I can just, let me go to the issue of the doping control. The doping control. I think we had expressed our and recommended that we find a way of working with that laboratory as a way of moving towards the reopening of that laboratory. If you remember, we had a serious problem around that laboratory because it's the only laboratory that we have in Africa. That's why, to a large extent, we also noted that we have a lot of money testing process to be done outside the country. Large is impacting our financial indeed, and to solve that, our government find a way of working with a doping agency. Remember, we explained in that process that it was an independent entity of some sort. I'm not sure what that was said in the meeting, but we recommended to find a way where the laboratory look into the financial capacity of financial support that can be provided in a turnaround strategy that they will represent. Remember, one to the project laboratory, some issues that I had these laboratories. So I think in our recommendation, we need to be clear on one in terms of call. Remember, they had that the government to provide the necessary financial support. And we had agreed that we should come up with a way, how do we create work relating with that? That's one thing that I thought is into the doping laboratory.
Okay, can we do this, Honorable Khabo? I don't know whether it's just me, but I'm not sure whether everyone in the professional staff could hear you. What I would suggest is that possible members that Honorable Khabo, the input that he made with particular reference to SAIDS, be then submitted in writing, and then the professional staff can add it. We can just put it on a WhatsApp, give the go ahead, and it can be added. Can we do it in this way, Zoleka?
Yes, Chair, we can, because I also couldn't hear Mr. Khabo on my
Okay.
side. So he can send that to me, and then we can adopt the minutes with amendments.
Okay, is that
Thank you,
fine,
Chair.
honorable members? Can we get that your input before 12 today, Honorable Khabo?
No, it's fine, Chair. There seems to be a poor connection where we are recycling. But I'll
Okay.
definitely do that now. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Okay, can we get a proposal and a seconder for this?
Person,
Makato?
Chairperson, yes, I move for the adoption of the minutes.
Before the adoption, Chairperson,
Okay.
Yes,
before the adoption of the minutes,
Proceed.
Chairperson,
yes,
on
proceed.
the issue of life, if Chairperson allows me.
You can go.
Yes, on the issue of life, it needs to be stated that remember when the CFO was making the presentation that they didn't get the full amount. They were supposed to get 40 million, but they were only given 20 million because they failed to account on the finance that they were given earlier. So
Yes.
it's supposed to be one of the recommendations. And if you still remember, we even recommend that they need to submit everything and it needs to be audited before they can get their second
Yes,
funding of that 40 million.
yes. I think the message was clear from DSEC as well that they did not. What I just want us to add, while Honorable Molotana is speaking, I just want us to add that the committee was also concerned that there was a selective approach untoward non-compliance of certain entities. There was a selective, sort of punitive measures and not to everyone. Can we do that? Honorable.
Definitely, Chair.
Excuse me, Chair.
Yes.
Can we maybe phrase that as a recommendation or as a
Yes.
resolution?
As a recommendation.
As to
As
the
a-
department.
Yes. That the committee recommend that the department should not have a selective punitive approach towards certain entities, but to the rest. Do we have that? Honorable Mtetwa?
Thank you, Chair.
To all
Chair,
now.
Chair,
Yes, Honorable Mtetwa.
we're doing very well, very, very well as a committee. And the standard, whatever that we had requested to the Secretariat, I'm happy that it is showing, even on our minutes, the issue of the recommendations, which are matters arising from the meetings that we've had. Also, I think they've also included the glossary of these short names. I want us, Chair, that in our progressive move and our existence that is currently felt more than probably any other committee, we should move towards correcting things, certain things. Even the department, for me, it doesn't follow or it doesn't make logical sense that the committee should receive reports that are of poor quality, when in actual fact, according to the PFMA, these reports should have been submitted to the department. It says the department, it is not doing its due diligence. So I would want us to request the submitted reports with audited financials by the institutions, because those are supposed to, the department's reports are supposed to be subject of a scrutiny based on, in fact, not subject of scrutiny. They are supposed to be founded on the reports provided by the institutions. Now, for them to bring us reports that are saying Love Life did not comply. I don't think that is honesty from the department. It means that they don't even read the reports themselves. Because I mean, for instance, the basketball, that was the lowest of any report I've ever been subjected to. So I think also we must try and be very tough on the department to say the department immediately after they have presented the report, they must provide us with evidence of the report that was submitted to them by these institutions with audited financials, with what their response was to these institutions immediately after receiving those reports and going through those reports. Because the PFMA expects one to report annually on the funding that they have received. And therefore the department, before it provides that report to us, it must have scrutinized that report and written a letter back to that. We need to see those letters to see that they are indeed doing their due diligence and holding these institutions accountable. I think there was also one entity that received more than 50%, which is inconsistent with what the department would do, or according to the Treasury regulatory framework. That says they must provide 50% or even 70%, and after the reporting, they must provide, after reporting, then they must pay the final tranche. But there's an organization that got almost full, or 80 or 90% of the funding, or full funding, before it could even report back to. So I think it should be a standard procedure for us to say, immediately after they have reported to us, they must therefore provide evidence, instead of us saying they must go and revise. They must provide what they have submitted. They must provide what they have received and what their consequence management was, or response to that, because I think that would have been audited by Auditor General. And in some way, I don't know whether it is possible, because I saw in one of the recommendations that you are saying the committee doesn't have investigative powers, but we are dependent on reports that are provided by the department, and therefore, and then Auditor General we should be able to request Auditor General's report on that, or whatever the department has reported to the Auditor General about that particular project. Thanks. I think, I don't know whether I'm making sense, but
Honorable Tetwa, you make complete sense. I'm going to tell you why. It's one thing to say this happened with Love Life. It's another that it is presented in the absence of evidence. And I agree we should do that. And following your input, if we can, Zoleka, also say in one of our recommendations or observations that it is clear that the department do not scrutinize reports submitted to this committee. Because if they scrutinize reports, we should not have a report, or rather a presentation indicated page 5, page 5, page 5, page 8, and alike. So I agree, if we can make that also one of our observations or recommendations. And then also what we then can do as well is that the paper trail pertaining to reports of those not complying should be made available to the committee. Because what we experienced on that particular day was a finger point from one to the other pertaining to the problems that we have.
Excuse me, Chair.
Yes, you may proceed.
I propose, Chair, that this one falls under matters arising from these minutes, and therefore it will reflect on the minutes of today's meeting.
Okay. If I think that is an order, if you have it recorded like that, we will then accept it in this way, just for you to rectify it. Okay, honorable members, can we have a
Check. I'm not sure if I'm audible now. Gabo.
Yes, you are.
All right. Look, Chair, I'll forward the text now regarding is it call or the one of the laboratory. Chair, on the issue of Love Life, it was not only Love Life, but we had picked up, like Honorable Eugene had said earlier on, we had picked up that in terms of the PFMA, before you can make any transfer as a department, you must firstly make or get a report that indicates on how that entity is intending to spend the money. We then said that as a committee, firstly, one, we recommended that the department must no longer, because through Love Life, we had picked up that they had paid money to Love Life, and it was not only Love Life. When they have not submitted all the relevant documentations, that will lead to the tranche or the money being released from the department. We then recommended that the department must develop a framework that deals with two things. One, assessing the correct spending of the money, because if you remember correctly, we're arguing, especially around Live Life, as to why is their program demonstrating that they are not reflecting the 9 provinces in the country. And we then said that we must begin to, or the department must begin to implement its programs even in rural areas. But in them doing that, they must establish a mechanism on how they are going to monitor the correct spending of the money in all these entities. Because we had picked up that the department is just sending money to those entities, even though they do not submit the relevant documentation. But at the same time, the department does not find a way of monitoring as to whether those entities are implementing money. Remember what was raised about Love Life? There was an allegation that they are using the money for programs to pay for their office space and to pay for their non-executive board members. That's when we said that there must be a mechanism developed by the entity. Part of the reasons why we said that the department should do that, it was precisely because of we're referring the department to what the Auditor General was saying in terms of what led to these unqualified audit findings. And part of it, he was speaking about internal control deficiencies. That's when we spoke about those mechanisms on how do we manage and monitor these entities, because we had realized that the department is just giving out money and then from that point is unable to monitor it. So I was just saying that as much as it might arise it might be an issue that arises from this discussion, but we also discussed it in that meeting, specifically when we were dealing with Love Life in terms of them developing, but that was for the department, for them to monitor all entities. Thank you very much.
Okay, I agree, and I hear what you say, honorable member. I think let's do it from our next session, né? And then we'll take it from there. But I hear what you say. There is an argument on the table, but the problem is that when they appear before us, we interrogate, we make decisions. I'm just having a problem with the inputs now. How are we going to fit it back into the minutes again? But in terms of what Honorable Mtetwa has said pertaining to his issue and also to the issue of DSEC vis-a-vis basketball, that the PC secretary said we can enter that. Honorable members, if that is fine, can we just read the comments by Honorable Khapo on SAIDS?
Chair, are the comments on the chat or on the WhatsApp group? I didn't see them.
You're saying?
The comments on SAT or call, Chair. Are we reading those ones or the ones that he just made now on Love Life?
The ones that he just sent to us now.
Okay, Chair. What I've added in the minutes is that the committee recommended that the DSEC must not have a punitive approach to certain entities, but to all entities, and DSEC must establish a mechanism on how to monitor the money transferred to entities.
That is fine, but the comment of Honorable Khabor pertaining to SAIDS, he said he sent it to on a WhatsApp.
It's on WhatsApp. It says Doping Control Laboratory. 1, develop a turnaround strategy to resolve issues that led to the closure of the laboratory, the only laboratory in Africa. 2, establish ways to fund operations of the laboratory.
Okay, are we all happy with that?
I will add them as they are, Chair.
Okay, if we are happy, can we have a proposal and a seconder?
I propose the adoption of the minutes with amendments, Chair.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Yes, I do second, Chair, Honorable Kabo, with the amendments made. Thank you very much.
Okay, can we go to the next minutes? We can proceed with the minutes slowly. Members, please indicate if you want to stop at a particular page and rectify. Members, feel free to do so.
Chair.
Proceed, honorable member.
Yes, that part, man, that part of consider. Number 3, the committee will consider. Remember, we said that we must reach out to SCOPA and check how do they best assist in investigating that, but not consider. I'm not sure if I make sense, Chair.
Can we formulate it in this fashion? That the committee suggests that the portfolio secretariat or secretary must get all the cases that was of concerns ever since we engaged with the department. And then we will then write to SCOPA so that they appear before SCOPA so that SCOPA can deal with them and not only us.
I'm comfortable with that approach, Chair. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, thanks, Thank you then.
Chairperson, can you repeat that, Chair?
That the portfolio committee suggests that the research component get all outstanding cases of serious nature pertaining to service delivery, and as a result, write to SCOPA in order for those entities and or DSEC to appear before SCOPA. I hope you recorded me. Okay, we can proceed.
Hey, I was absent on this meeting, so I can't say anything.
Noted, Honorable Mtetwa.
Chair, Honorable Kabo, I would like to move for the adoption of the minutes with omissions and augmentations done. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we get a seconder?
I would like to second it, and I think that these minutes actually reflect the mood of the meeting as well towards the end in your remarks. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's Honorable Jacobs in this meeting. I thought that Honorable Minister Mackenzie is still looking for him. Okay, can we put the next
I
item
wanted
on?
to say the same thing. Chair.
Honorable Jacobs, I had to
Good day.
cover for you. I'm just saying.
You're doing, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Can we go to the next item?
That was the last set of minutes, Chair. We can move to the next item on the agenda.
What is the next item?
It's the report on our oversight visit to Eastern Cape.
Okay, that is just a tabling. Can we accept it?
Yes, Chair, we are just tabling the report and it's been sent to members so that they can look at it and then we can consider and adopt it on the 12th of October.
Okay, can we go to the? Okay, can we? Please, members, go through this because we are going to debate on all of these reports and stuff that are presented to us. So, can we do the last item? Are we going to deal with this? Is Fiona taking us through every page?
Chairperson,
Proceed.
are we not going to raise any information that has been omitted in this oversight report?
No, not now. I think it's just tabled.
Okay,
We sent it yesterday.
it's fine, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Molatane. How do we deal with the final item, Zoleka? Is
Yes, Chair,
taking us
Fiona.
through?
Yes, Chair, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. She can proceed.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, may I request to share my document because I picked up an error with a date that it's not a major error, it's the date of the report on the department's annual report. So I'm going to share my screen just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. May I go ahead, Chairperson?
Yes, you can go ahead.
I think it should be visible to all the members now. Is it visible, Chairperson?
Yes, it is. Proceed.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chairperson, and good morning. Good morning to all the members. Chairperson, my duty today is just to present the draft BRRR report. And Chairperson, as you and the members have noted in meetings leading up to today's consideration of this report, the BRRR is a very important tool for Parliament to influence the budget. They provide an opportunity to determine, for example, service delivery and assess improvements brought about by the budget. And then just to note, Chairperson, that the bulk of the document contains an overview of reports that were considered by the committee in its various engagements with the department's entities, and the Federation of Basketball South Africa. And this is because an analysis of all accountability documentation informs the BRRR. And then just further note, Chairperson, that the recommendations contained within the report should be framed in such a way to inform the budget and the division of revenue. And then further, just to say that the recommendations should not be generic, but instead they should clearly indicate who these recommendations are directed at, what action is expected, and should also include realistic timeframes. And then, Chairperson, just to reiterate the issue of tracking recommendations, then once this report is adopted by the House, the committee will include the recommendations in its tracking document and then monitor the implementation thereof. So Chairperson, I'm just going to go slowly through, not slowly because it's 60 pages, and most of the information contained within the report has been considered by the committee. And Chairperson, can I give you an indication as to how fast or slow you'd like to go through this document, or are there specific sections that we need to zoom in on?
I would argue that also with particular reference to this one that members went through it, if we can perhaps, if that is fine with members, can just deal with the committee's observations. If that is fine, unless if there's a member that have anything
Okay.
else to mention, do so. But I would think that we just deal with the observations. Is that fine, honorable members?
Hi, Chair. I have my hand up.
Proceed, honorable member.
Thank you, Chair. I am approaching this with mixed feelings. And the reason being that we have so many problems with the department's reports. One of the questions that was asked by a colleague is, she said that, are we going to adopt the BRRR report of the department, or are we going to reject it? Now, my mixed feelings are based on the fact that if we reject the BRRR, not only the department will suffer the consequences, but also those we are fighting for in terms of getting budget to do their programs, to do their activities. So there's so many who are going to suffer in the process. But at the same time, how do we adopt a budget for this department that has so much inconsistencies in its own reporting? For instance, you have a situation where the department reports in its final quarter, it reports that they have achieved 26/26 in terms of program 1, which is the administration and that. And this also reflects on them saying they have all the councils fully capacitated or constituted. But without even going into details, I would say Boxing SA is not a council that is fully constituted. PENSAP is not a body that has a board that is fully constituted. In fact, the minister is challenging even the recommendation by this portfolio committee to appoint the board. Now, the 26/26 achievement is not truly reflective of that situation. But what do we do? What could be a better place? The one of theories that are defined by philosophy is utilitarianism, which says a good act is that considers the happiness of a great sample over a small sample that might be saying, no, it's not the right, it's not a good deed. And this is based on you do to please the majority over the minority. Having said that, are we going to if we are not going to adopt this and reject it based on the inefficiencies of the department, regardless of the non-existence of consequence management? Or are we going to think of the many other federations who have done very good in this current financial year? How do we balance this? I had a problem thinking of that, the whole night thinking that, how can we balance this? Because it is going to be difficult for us to say we are supporting this. having had such challenges with the department. Maybe, I don't know, I don't even want to go through the report. Probably I would have suggested that we are given a chance to go through this report, make our written remarks, and then maybe have a special meeting to then say, are we adopting or not? Because going through it now, it will do injustice to some of us in terms of what we now have experienced with the department. I don't know whether I'm making sense to you.
Honorable Mtetwa, may I ask the content advisor to respond before I'm going to give other members an opportunity to respond, and also on the process. Safe to say that, you know, when it comes to the report, it will be then dealt with by the committee as a collective in terms of the adoption thereof, and also another process in Parliament. So if Fiona can just respond.
Chairperson.
May I just give Fiona an opportunity first, then I will give you an opportunity, Honorable Molachane, Advocate.
No, I was going to go on the issue that has been raised by Honorable Mtetwa, Chairperson. If you allow me, then, if you allow me, Chairperson.
Can I just address the procedure? Then you will respond to Honorable Mtetwa. Fiona, can you explain the procedure?
Thank you, Chairperson. So, Chairperson, just a couple of notes. The budget has already been approved. The budget for 2024-2025 has already been approved and adopted. The recommendations in the BRRR, and let me note, Chairperson, that this report is not the department's report, it's the committee's report, assessing the implementation of the department's budget for the 2023-24 financial year, and then also the first quarter of 24-25. So this report assesses the department's performance for this period. And then also just to note, Chairperson, the report has been with the members since Tuesday, and we've already received an extension from House Chairperson, as this report was supposed to have been adopted last Friday, and so we are expected to adopt this report today. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Fiona. I wanted you to come from the content advisor's desk, and not from myself. And if members can remember, we wrote a letter, we asked for exemption, and so there's no way, you know, that this can be after today. We must deal with it today, so to speak. Honorable Molachane, Advocate Shamila, Honorable Nkosi, Honorable Khabo, Honorable Liam, in that order.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I think Fiona has just explained something that I was going to explain. The unfortunate part is that this report, yes, we do have some notes that we've taken when we were busy reading this report. Unfortunately, it needs to be dealt in today, and we need to approve it with recommendations that we are going to bring in. So this report needs to be done with today, Chairperson, approved, and if we have any new recommendation, which, yes, I know we are going to have, they must be put in, and this we must put this report to rest. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, what we're dealing, before other members is going to speak, like it has been emphasized that this has been long with us, that is the process. So if the input of members is pertaining to a response or rather the process. But I want to explain again, and maybe members, those who wanted to speak would not be want to speak any further. So, well, number one, we are not adopting the budget year. That is important. As explained, it has already been done. The budget was already approved. The recommendations is giving some sort of lenience to us. It's giving space to this committee to raise concerns on the implementation. And there is where I would like to agree with Honorable Mtetwa. We are on the right track, and let's eat this elephant bit by bit. It gives us that opportunity to raise concerns now about the implementations of the budget, and also where I think we will play an influential role is to propose ways how we can improve. And this is where we should keep the department responsible or accountable. We have said this, we have put our ways forward how to improve this. I saw a question by the Honorable Chief Lutuli, where he asked, listen, I see that you have allocated 5 million for spinning in terms of priority. So these are the examples of questions that we will make. I'm going to give another opportunity. I see the hands are still there. I don't know what's going on after the explanation, but let's go. Honorable Sali.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everybody. I first want to agree with Honorable Mtetwa. I'm very conflicted with regard to, yes, I know the budget has been passed and all those type of things. We know that has happened already. The reports, the information that we're receiving, I'm sorry, from my side, I'm going to say it straight out. What is on paper and the reality is two different things. And I'm very conflicted in actually just accepting or agreeing this particular report. I do understand the repercussions that it does have. However, like you correctly said, Honorable Chair, you're going to have to break it down. And we're going to have to make it very, very clear in this report. The concerns that we have, including the fact that we are very concerned about what is on paper and what is actually happening in reality. Because if we as a portfolio do not alert, because look at this, also going to go out to the general public so that they can see what this portfolio is doing. It is also a reflection on us and our work. So we can't just accept things simply because, we conflicted. One side, we have to accept or decide upon this report because it has implications. If we don't accept the report, it has implications upon the general public as well. But we need to make this very, very clear. The concerns that we have, how those concerns needs to be rectified, and we need to ensure that there is timelines in these reports for rectification. As also noted by Honorable Lutuli with regard to the spinning issue, if you will remember, I placed it on record on more than one occasion. So we've got 16 sporting codes, and sporting codes are being added left, right, and center. Promises are being made that was not budgeted for, nor protocols being followed. I would like to ensure that that too is covered so that the general public out there that we are responsible for, that we're responsible to answer for and to do our proper oversight, knows that this portfolio has been alerted them to all our concerns with regard to this report, and in the event that we are going to agree to accept this report. Thank you.
Honorable members, I really don't want us to confuse one another or misunderstanding the process. We are dealing with our report. We are dealing with the BRRR. It's a report that will be from this committee with the emphasis on the recommendations and the observations. So the committee must now here decide whether we accept our own report or reject our own report. This is what we are dealing here. As the content advisor has explained, that the budget has been approved. I'm happy I see some hands is falling down. The budget has been approved. Everything pertaining to the budget is in there. We had all of these people that we saw and what have we seen in wherever and all over the show. And now we say This is our recommendations. This is our observations. Now we say it's now becoming a report of us, the committee. And it's now in front of us. We have asked for extension. And now we say, we asked for extension because of a lot of other reasons. Now we say to one another, let us now adopt or reject the report. As a committee, we are dealing with our own report, the committee's report. If it's going to be tabled in Parliament, we will debate and say that we are now going to debate the report of the committee. It's a reflection of what has transpired in the respective meeting of us. Honorable Nkosi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I think you are clear and loud, Honorable Chair. I was thinking that, as Honorable Mletsane indicated, that let us adopt the report, Chair. And as we are adopting the report, Chair, we can raise the observation on the report as the committee and make our recommendations if maybe we see that the recommendations that are there we are not supporting, or we are adding on the recommendation. But I think the recommendation was saying the budget, the BRRR report must be considered. I would love to join Mletsane by saying let us consider the report by adopting it and raise our issues as we are indicating that maybe if we've got issues, let's raise those issues and make the recommendations towards the report as to what do we need to see in this report, and make sure that as the oversighter of this portfolio committee, we must make sure that we look at the implementation part of those recommendations as the committee. That's what I wanted to say, Chair. Thank you very much. I don't want to be long.
Yeah, thank you for that clarity. We had again, I'm going to say it over and over, we deal with our report. We've been given extension, and that extension has been granted up until today. And there
Chair,
is no way.
I'm covered, Chair, as I am the one who raised that. I now understand clearly.
No, I'm happy you raise it, but after you've raised it, you understand. But I want all members to have that understanding, Honorable Tetwa. Then we are on one page. That's why even if we have to belay the issue, let's do that. But that is a good thing that Honorable Nkosi also had to say now. The other thing just also is that I think we're not the only one with all of these delays. But at the end of the day, with the due respect to the parliamentary program, and plenaries that is so packed, and it will be more packed close to the closure of Parliament. The fact that we have now extended 1 week as a constituency week. Honorable Liam Jacobs.
No, thank you, Chairperson. I think, again, it's a matter of being covered, but, there exists a contradiction when I say that I want to reject my own report. So we cannot do that. It's a deep contradiction.
That's why.
And throw it away. So,
Exactly.
If you're
exactly. My apologies, Honorable Jacobs, and I'm sorry to do this. That's why, like Honorable Nkosi had said, if we had enough time, and guys, we have made it very clear to everyone we are reading. So I took it for granted everyone read this. I read some of it. I phoned the content advisor, explain to me this and this. I understand, explain to me this. So that's why I don't want to rush things through now as well. Let's go through it. I want members, because there are new members also. This opportunity that we have now in the 7th Parliament, these will be some sort of, a re-happening in the next year, so that we can become masters in this. So if we understand it, once we understand it here, it's almost like a child. 7 years, infant stages, explain it, and then if you grow up and you go further, the second year in Parliament, we understand it better, then we know we are actually much more equipped in this particular field when it comes to this. And what Honorable Jacobs has also now said, or rather Honorable Nkosi, if we have an issue of what is penned down in terms of the recommendations of the committee, feel free to add any member. I want to add this. We can debate it. If members feel no, that was not what is transpired. Or no, this is what happened. We can add. Then let's do that.
So, Chairperson, may I continue?
Yes, sorry.
Yes. So I was going to say that, you know, when you read the recommendations made by the committee towards the end of the report, these are very sound and logical steps towards accountability. And I think it actually reflects the key of Honorable Mtetwa's argument, in that the department's utilitarian stance towards service delivery is a stance that also then endangers service delivery. So when you look at these recommendations, it's actually a shift to a deontological ethical framework. Because if you look at the wording, should ensure, should provide, works closely. This is duty-based, principle-based ethics that are at play here. And I think that this shift is a strong shift towards stronger accountability and better service delivery. So I do not think that this is something we should reject. I think this is a very strong report, and it is also something that I'd like to voice my unequivocal support for, and that, in fact, if possible, more recommendations must be included. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Okay, yeah, and from here, after this session, Honorable Khapo, I'm going to give you an opportunity now. I don't know whether that's a legacy and Honorable Nkosi. Even after this, what also happened and transpired in committees, with my experience, is that we might adopt the report here now. You normally find that members that belongs to various respective political parties say, I reserve my rights. Then when we go to Parliament and this report has been tabled, I, as the chairperson, will represent the views of the committee. Be as it may, was it good or bad or even anything that was said in that particular meeting, then members come and they come debate and they give their direction of their political parties, whether they accept or reject this report. Honorable Khapo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, the signal is very bad then, Christiana.
I'm not in, I'm in the Bundos in Cape Town.
Oh, sorry.
Can you hear me now, Chair?
Proceed, yes.
Chair, I wanted to say, I think that has been exhausted in terms of the procedure. And generally, there is an understanding we must continue with the report. But I want to propose that because of this is our report and we can't contradict ourselves saying that we reject a report that we have, it is of our own issue. For the purpose of incorporating new members on the understanding that we have as broader committee members,
yes,
I would propose that let us not rather zoom only in the observations. Let's rather take them step by step, so that in inclusivity, we are able to make an observation and attend to issues that are raised by Honorable Mtetwa and the advocate in relation to critical challenges that we are having in terms of the general operation of the department. Let's check if it is proper. Because sometimes when we go for recommendation, our recommendations can be issues that needs to be corrected or plans that must be put in place to correct our, to look into things that we have observed that are inconsistent with the law. So let us check if everything has been captured correct and explicitly clear, then it will be, if there will be a need for other recommendations. But I'm taking observation, obviously they will be recommended those recommendations, because I've also noted recommendations I feel that we should run as a committee, because at the end of the day, this will be our view or our consolidated view as a committee of how we think the department operating its entities or its affairs in terms of management of funds. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Khapo. Honorable Mtetwa.
Thanks, Chair. In the interest of time, and considering the time that we have already spent on deliberations around this, maybe I would like to suggest that we zoom into the observations and the recommendations, because I don't have any reason to distrust members of this committee and the Secretariat, because we have been singing the same chorus right through on all the reports of the department. Thanks, Chair.
Wonderful. Thank you, Honorable Tetwa. You may proceed, Content Advisor.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thank you to the members for those inputs. They are welcomed, and I do realize that we do have some new members on our committee, and apologies if I've overlooked that fact. Chairperson, and so should we proceed to the recommendations as suggested by
Honorable Tetwa, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. I just needed clarity on that. Let me just down. So, Chairperson, as I said, this is just a synthesis of the information that was presented to the committee, and the BRRR report is a backwards and forwards looking report. So we're looking at the completed 2023-24 financial year, and then also the first quarter of 2024-25. Chairperson, as I noted in the report, there is a limitation, which is an ongoing limitation with the BRRR report, and ideally it should include the performance for the second quarter of 2024-25, but those reports are not ready for consideration, and so the limitation is that the committee can only consider the first quarter of 24-25. So, Chairperson, I'm now at the section of the report that deals with the committee's observations and recommendations. And Chairperson, you would note that I have highlighted this in blue because, as Honourable Mr. Jacobs has indicated, that there is space for the committee members to improve and to amend the observations or concerns that were raised during deliberations. And then just for members to note that these recommendations should focus as far as possible on budgetary recommendations and not so much on administrative or operational recommendations. Thank you, Chairperson. So just zooming in on the observations and recommendations. And these were all drawn out from the discussions that the committee had with the department in the presence of the entities and organizations and the federation in the name of Basketball South Africa that presented to the committee. So the first recommendation pertains to leadership instability and vacancies. Chairperson, I'm not sure, we're close to the end of the meeting, so I'm not sure if I should read through every observation, recommendation, and due date. Chairperson, can you just guide me there?
I would think, you know, of the seriousness of the debate and also the appetite of members, you know, as Honorable Mtetwa has said, pertaining to this whole process. I would think go through it quick, you know, especially when it comes, like you said, through proposals and recommendations pertaining to the budgetary process. I think that is important, and that is the serious blow that we can give to the department to say, listen, pertaining to the budget constraints and stuff, this is our recommendations. And I think you may also agree that those recommendations should be taken seriously by the department itself. I almost say, and the treasury as well. I think just sum the recommendation up sentence by sentence. That is important. That will be helpful. Thanks, Fiona.
Thank you for that clarity, Chairperson. So let's proceed as suggested. The committee noted with concern that the contract for the department's Director General ended in August 2022 and the post remains vacant. Additionally, the position of Deputy Director General, Recreational Development and Sports Promotion is also currently vacant, with a departmental official acting in this post. Sorry, Chairperson, that's just grammar police. Further, the committee notes that the department's response to the 2024 budget vote report, that should be report, in which it states that the capacity challenges within the department also limits its oversight on the boards and councils of public entities. And then the corresponding recommendation to that chairperson is that while the committee notes that these positions were advertised with the closing date of 1st November, which is today, it recommends that the appointments to these posts be expeditiously finalized by the end of the 2024-25 financial year. And that would be the 31st of March, 2025.
Yeah, can I say this? What I sense of the very last meeting, there was members that were very curious to say there's no one that we can hold accountable because this day and that day is a new one, a new DG, a new acting. I say, you can just add there for the sake of accountability somewhere in this particular line.
And note to chairperson, let me just. Okay, let me put that at the end of the sentence.
Yes.
Clean it up, but as long as I get the gist of the.
Okay.
Sorry, Chair.
Proceed. Who's that?
Is Khabo, am I audible?
Yes, Honorable Khabo.
Yes. When we speak of the appointment, I'm not sure how would our content creator feed it in for the sake of accountability. On that one, or for the sake of accountability, probably we should extend it and be clear, Chair, because we have always been.
Now read the full sentence, Fiona. We talk about the fact, Honorable Khabo, that there is every time an acting, and for the sake of accountability, we ask that this must be expedited. The appointments must be expedited.
Of which I fully agree.
Yes,
Of which I fully agree. I wanted to add and say that remember the issue has always, the part of accountability comes from the DG. And I wanted us to be clear that with specific reference, the position of DG and DDG, or I'm not sure how do they relate, but remember the issue has always been the vacant position of the DG that has been there for 2 years. And I wanted to add probably with specific reference to the DG.
Yes.
That's the only part. As part of, I fully agree with the setup. So I just wanted to, that part of being specific, because sometimes we are told of broad and long positions that do not really matter in terms of accountability to the committee. Thank you, Chair.
I agree. Do you have that, Fiona? If it's added, you can proceed.
Also, Chair, may I get clarity?
Please add.
Because when we talk of leadership instability and vacancies, it also extends to the institutions that fall under the department, like your boxing.
No, not in this particular case. But I think I know where you want to go, Honorable Mtetwa. Maybe we should say that when we talk about leaders, in this particular case, it is the DG, DDG, acting. It's all of that. We can just, perhaps, Honorable Mtetwa, does include leadership in the entities, if that is fine with you.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say, that it should also include those key leadership positions that also have a responsibility to come before us and report.
Yes, and then we will be able to show finger to say, listen, there's Matata here in basketball. There's no leadership here in boxing, that particular case. I think that's a good one.
Thanks, Chair.
Got that, Fiona?
I'm typing, Chairperson.
Okay.
Okay, and the committee is fine with the end of the financial year, 2024-25?
Yes, I would get it. Proceed.
The next observation and recommendation, Chairperson, pertains to the audit outcomes for the portfolio. The committee notes with concern the slight regression in the overall audit outcomes for the portfolio. The committee is constitutionally mandated to track progress on commitments made and strengthen its oversight and allow for deeper scrutiny of service delivery. That's the observation. The recommendation, Chairperson, is that the department should provide the committee with its audit action plan and other corrective measures to ensure improvement in the portfolio audit, and that is by the end of, portfolio audit outcomes by the end of the third quarter of 2025. So that would be the 31st of December 2024.
Okay, help me. I'm a little bit lost here. If we talk about the portfolio outcome audit, does that mean it gives reference to the AG's audit outcomes?
Correct, Chairperson. That is the presentation that the AG made to the committee on the 15th of October, which includes all the public entities. And also the implementation of the conditional grant.
I'm happy, and that is where our where Honorable Khabo 2 weeks ago asked for a particular list of outstanding cases, audits, whether it's been rectified. A case in point, my favorite, Gary Kirsten. What is happening there was, money's been paid, and others. Proceed. Honorable Mtetwa.
My hand is up as well.
Chairperson,
my
Honorable
apology.
Mtetwa must raise hands like us because Honorable Nkosi has been raising the hand. I don't know from when.
I'm going to do it this way. No.
I withdraw, Chair.
No, I'm going to do it this way. I have declared when we start this meeting that I am having challenges. I'm on 2 gadgets. I can't see. If there's a member, it's our house. It belongs to all of us. I said, please, members, indicate, get in. If you say I don't take note of you or whoever it is, just get in. Get in as an open door policy. I actually should have asked the PC secretary to assist with hands, but as you wish to come in, doesn't matter who it is, just come in, don't worry. Let me give, for the sake of it is...
My apology, Honorable Mtetwa.
You're saying? For the fact that it is Mental Health Month, we accommodate everyone, and for the fact that it's also women's rights.
No, we thought that you will look at us on the screen. That is why I'm quiet. That is why I'm quiet.
Yeah,
but now Mr. Mtetwa is winning because he will just raise his voice,
Let me explain my challenge. The one gadget where I think, where you can see me, there it's off again. The one gadget, it's off. The one gadget is off. Where I can see the hands is now off. I'm trying to switch it on. That's why I don't see the hands, but you're welcome to come in. Honorable, let me give Honorable Makgato an opportunity, then Honorable Eugene. Honorable Makgato?
No, now I didn't raise my hands.
Honorable Nkosi, Chair.
Honorable Nkosi, Chair.
Okay,
Yes,
sorry.
Chair. I seemingly want to sabotage me.
Nkosi.
No, Honorable Chair, thank you very much. I just want to indicate, Chair, that on the audit outcomes of the Auditor General, with regards to the regression of the department in our programs there, I think, Chair, in one of the meetings, I can see the recommendation that is speaking about the action plan that needs to be provided to us as members of the portfolio committee, of which I fully agree with that, because in one of the meetings that we had, we did indicate and we did recommend that the action plan must be submitted to all of us as the members of the portfolio so that you can monitor the progress of the implementation of the recommendations made. And up until now, we didn't get that. So I just want to put an emphasis that we still need that action plan as the members of the portfolio committee so that we can be able to play our oversight role on the issues raised by the auditor general with regards to their implementation. Thank you very much, Chair.
Good. That's now really serious stuff. I appreciate that input, but I must also just make a comment here. There are meetings where members ask for information, and I also want to say to Jabu, thank you for the patience that you have with us. She sat next to me the other day, and someone was asking, and she said, "But Chair, I have sent that long ago." So, but anyhow, we must keep ourselves updated with what we have and what we don't have in the way forward. But in terms of the oversight for us, what Honorable Nkosi has just said now, we must have that list. We must actually have on our computer a folder wherever we are, and we click on it and then we can go. Honorable Molatani, my other gadget is on again now, as you can see, and I'm on the other gadget in my hand. I can now see who is Honorable Molatani and Honorable Khabo. I think that is a legacy hand.
No, it's not.
Okay, I wanted to snap you, but I couldn't. Honorable Molatani and then Honorable Khabo.
Thank you, Chairperson. You know, Chairperson, now it's very difficult to go through this report because we've noted, according to the pages of the report, I'm not sure if you allow me to do that.
Now let's open it. I'm going to open it for
Yes,
you, Honorable.
Let's start first by page. Can Fiona go to page 39? Page 39. Yes, Chairperson. Page 39 is talking about this SIU investigation allegations of maladministration in KZN. And based on that information that has been provided by SIU investigation into, I think we need to have the recommendation that the SIU investigation into allegation of maladministration and in related to library construction and book procurement in KwaZulu-Natal is concerning and require closed monitoring by the portfolio. We need to monitor that, Chairperson, because remember, we haven't had any outcomes regarding that. So I don't know where are we going to put it, but we need to monitor that, Chairperson, as the portfolio, because come next year, it will be looking into our face again, and possibly on that time, we'll be saying we are not adopting this report. So I think we need to look at that one. Number two, it's regarding the National Department overseas. We must oversee the Community Library Services Grant to ensure its responsibility and proper administration, Chairperson.
Do you have that, Fiona? Thank you, Honorable Molatani. I'll give you a chance now, members. Just a second, I'll give you a chance now, Honorable Khabo.
Can we go to page 50? Oh, bless me. Can we go to page 59, 55?
Just a second. Can the content advisor just deal with the issue that you have raised now?
Chairperson? Sorry, thank you so much for that, Ms. Molatani. I am noting, and there is a recommendation that says, it's recommendation 7.8, the committee further requests to be updated on the status of the special investigating units investigation into the libraries listed in Proclamation 160 of 2024.
Thank you, Fiona. That's why I said I take it for granted members has read this whole thing. So I hope it's not being members are not reading it only now, because Honorable Molachana has picked that up. It is in the recommendations. Anything else? Maybe just make sure if you want to mention anything else, whether it is in the recommendations. Honorable Khabo.
Okay, Chair. I wanted us to, I think the simplest way also as part of incorporating the new members is this one of item by item. I'm not sure, but not necessarily withstanding the idea of other comrades that they should make submissions in relations to the pages that they've made. But myself, I wanted to make a submission around the audit outcomes, Chair.
Proceed, Honorable Khaba.
You know, sometimes I'm worried about, because these documents at the end of the day will become a public document in terms of the view of the committee. And when you look at the audit outcomes and what the Auditor General is saying, I'm not sure how do we explain this thing as slight regression. But now I would want to argue that it must be regression, because if you look at the outer years, there's never been improvement in terms of the actual delivery of services. But there have rather been improvements in terms of achievements of the targets that are not necessarily speaking about the outcome that we want as the new committee. So I'd argue that there's been regress in terms of audit outcomes. I'm raising this because of issues that the Auditor General has been raising over the years have been recurring. So it means that there's not been any progress. So there is generally regression. But going to I wanted to capture our observation in that aspect. But also on the audit action plan, Chair, let me allow then the content creator to finalize that aspect that she's writing.
Content advisor.
Content advisor.
Yeah.
Apologies, we live and learn. Apologies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like what Honorable Khabo said now. And maybe as a recommendation also, we say that this committee, let's make that, I think we must make that known. I think someone also mentioned in one of the meetings, I think it's Honorable Mtetwa, who categorically stated that the committee never get a unqualified report, I think for the last 2, 3, 4 consecutive years. We must say that they must now move out of regression, to unqualified. They must really move to unqualified. And the only way to move to unqualified is for DSEC to wake up. Honorable
Chair, I was just on that part of recommendations. Maybe after Fiona has concluded there, I'll add. But I wanted to say that when we speak of an audit action plan, we sometimes create a leeway for these officials to give us a vague report that becomes a hurdle for us as a committee to hold people accountable. Now, when we request the report with specific reference to time frames and officials responsible, as much as we expect it on the third quarter, but in its submission, it must be a detailed one that indicates what is the problem, how are they intending to resolve it, what is the turnaround time, who's the responsible official. And I wanted us to be clear on that aspect, because that becomes then a recommendation. I've been looking at some of how we recommend, we just become vague. And in a way, it becomes a bit difficult to corner these officials, because yes, we have requested an audit plan, but they'll give you an audit plan that says that they will look into the SCM processes, but they are not telling you what is it that they are going to look into the SCM processes. When the Auditor General is speaking of internal controls, what is it that they are doing? Are they reviewing the SCM policy? When are they expected to do that? So I wanted to be clear on that recommendation in particular of the audit outcome, Chair. And I think in a way, we should also be clear in terms of not only the audit action plan with time frames and so forth, but with specific reference to issues that the AG has raised. I mean, for argument's sake, the quality of our reports. It's the AG who said that we're not complying in terms of the section 55 of the PFMA. Is the AG who has said that we have not demonstrated any appetite, not only to attend to audit outcome action plan, but there are 3 critical issues that the Auditor General has raised on and around that: lack of internal controls, lack of consequence management, and lack of investigations, including on our entities. So generally on the audit outcome, Chair, I wanted us, I wanted us to be clear in terms of what is it that we're expecting on the audit outcome and how would we want it to be structured. That was my only submission, Chair. Thank you very much, and apologies for taking long.
Yeah, no, thank you for that, Honorable Kabo. Let me just give a direction again. I completely agree with everything that you have said. But what is in front of us is recommendations on a high level, very high level. When members going to debate this report, then you can cut into the finer details in a explanatory way to say, like the way Honorable Kabo has now put it. But the stuff that you have now also explained to us, to a greater extent, high level, it is there. We talk about regressive. Now we have to in our debates elaborate on this regressive things and expenditures, and we don't have to literally, load the recommendations with everything that each and every one of us want to have. If there's a lead on the high level report on the recommendations, then one can just take out from there, and it's like just a meat given to you to prepare yourself for your speech or to have that particular understanding. Otherwise we're gonna be with a big thick book here. Honorable Sali, then Honorable Nkosi, then Honorable Mtetwa.
Hi, Chase. I think you might have covered me because I think, like you're pointing out now, the finer details, we need to maybe ask those questions in the plenaries or in the meetings that we're going to have subject to this budget. But I just felt that we need to be harder hitting on, not just on the fact that we've been asking for infrastructures and assistance with regard to school sports, but also with regard to in the community infrastructure for sports. And that would have had to be coming out strongly in our recommendations. I just also want a little bit of direction here as to whether we put this into this report and make it a little bit more clear, but also our concerns with regard to these federations and things. Should it be in this report more, I just feel it's not coming out there for the lay person who's going to end up also reading this report. So it's there and can be read under NPOs. I don't know where it can be read, but I just feel our concerns with regard to these federations that has been funded and nothing has been forthcoming from it needs to be highlighted in our report, and even insofar as the recommendations. I don't know, please give me guidance on that one. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree, Honorable Sali. Under sports, can you just read for us what is the recommendations there?
Chairperson, is that directed at me? Fiona?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, Chairperson. Recommendation 7.9 speaks to transformation in sport. And it notes, Chairperson, that the target for percentage of national federations meeting 50% or more of all prescribed transformation charter targets was removed from the 2023-24 APP.
Yes.
And that is because the department and the AG explained that because the department couldn't resolve that issue of measuring the target. And so they simply removed it without applying their minds to it. And so the corresponding recommendation to that observation is that the department should revise and resolve the measurability of this target and include it in its 2025-26 APP.
Thank you,
because we're
Fiona.
already dealing with a 2024-25 APP, so it
Yes.
can't be
Yes.
revised, but it can be revised for the next APP.
Yes, thank you. My
And
apologies, Fiona. We are jumping around. So you have to go from page to page or issue to issue that members have mentioned. Hence, we agree that we're going to deal with the recommendations from top to bottom. Maybe we should go back to that initial idea, Honorable Nkosi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Yeah, I think Chairperson, what was raised by Honorable Kabu is correct. I thought that when they provide with us with the action plan must contain all the issues raised by the Auditor General and the recommendations, so that we will be able to monitor the implementation as I indicated before. Second to that, Chair, on the issues that was raised by Honorable Muletsani with regards to the SIU, Chair, I just want to check with the maybe Chair with you, because I've got a proposal as to say, but I'm not too sure whether it's possible that to happen. That the let me see, Chair, just hold on for me. I just want to check that what if we are saying as this portfolio committee that the SIU provides the committee with a detailed briefings from the National Department on the SIU issues that are being investigated and the status and the findings as well, and any interim measures that are put in place. I don't know how possible it is that we will get that detailed briefings for them. That is why I'm saying maybe I'm subject to be corrected by the committee if that is not going to happen. But that was my personal
Honorable members, I must now give the direction and leadership. The recommendation read that the committee further request to be updated on the status of the special investigation. We are 10 minutes past our time. Let's go from where we started, from there, and debate or ask for input. Let's deal with the issues, the recommendations. Are we happy? Rectify the sentence. All the other debates, we will deal with it some other time. But let's deal with what is in front of us, honorable members. Let us not, like if there's a recommendation for this, let's say, okay, we're happy for that recommendation. I remember to say, can we do this? Well, let's not debate it. Let's deal with the report that is very crucial that must go in still today. Honorable Eugene.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, indeed, I agree with you, Chair. We're jumping all over the place and we are going to miss many other things. I think sequentially, let's follow as we had agreed before, line by line from the top to bottom. And secondly, on the auditor outcomes, I read, advocate would agree with me, when something is very vague or confusing, it will lead to gray areas where those that we are dealing with will take advantage of it. In law, you are not allowed to use words that are ambiguous. Now, I read this first line that says, committee notes with concern the regression in the overall audit outcomes for the portfolio. Are we referring to portfolio committee or are we referring to the department?
We're referring to the portfolio committee.
Is the portfolio committee's audit outcomes regressing?
Chairperson.
Yes. Proceed, Fiona.
Sorry to interrupt, Chairperson and Mr. Mtetwa. The portfolio in this context refers to the sport, arts and culture sector. All the public entities, organizations, and federations reporting to the department.
Can you write it in full, Fiona? Because I'll tell you, Honorable Gawe said, the layman's approach will not understand what you mean. They might think that it is the regression of the audits of this particular portfolio committee.
But we not ordered you, Honorable Mtetwa.
I know, that's why I'm worried. How can we have a regressing audit outcome? And secondly, on the recommendation, yes, it is good to say we need the action plan. I want to believe that whether it is the public protector's outcomes on the investigation or any other investigation that is done, whether against the department or any entity, there's always remedial actions that are set with specific timeframes. But it is my experience with the department that it even ignores the public protector's remedial actions, the Auditor General's action plan. So I think we need also to put the issue of that the department must adhere to the recommendations or remedial actions or whatever action plan, and failure to do so, there must be consequences against the department, because it has done it before. There are so many recommendations that have been made, but the department has this attitude, the arrogant attitude that we often see for not complying with those recommendations or remedial or action plans, which have timeframes, by the way. Thanks. I think that's all I wanted to add, Chair, on this one.
Thank you.
The enforcement part of it must be very clear that we will take action against such.
Okay, can you just read it, Fiona? Go up.
Sorry, I was muted, Chairperson. So I've removed the word portfolio from the observation and replaced it with the audit outcomes for the public entities and organizations reporting to the department. The rest of the observation remains the same. And then for the recommendation, I will just read through it quickly. The department should provide the committee with its detailed audit action plan, which includes the names of responsible officials and time frames and other corrective measures to ensure improvement in the sector audit outcomes by the end of the third quarter of this financial year. And then the department must adhere to this action plan, which is specifically, and recommendations, and failure to do so must have consequences.
I like it.
Then a further recommendation, the committee recommends that the department strives to improve its audit outcome from unqualified with findings to unqualified with no findings, a clean audit.
Great
and
stuff.
then I just need a time frame there, Chairperson.
Wonderful.
By the end of which financial year?
Wonderful, Fiona.
Yeah, that's great. But are we going to be specific to say by the end of which financial year?
Yes, Chair, I think we should have that time frame, because
yeah, I think the next financial year, because they got one with findings, they can have one without findings now.
I think we should have this as a project of the portfolio committee to improve this. It seems like people are very proud to get qualified with findings, unqualified with findings.
Agree.
Yeah, thanks, Chair.
Okay, Fiona, you may proceed.
Thank you, Chairperson. So moving on to observation recommendation 7.3, which deals with irregular expenditure and consequence management. The observation reads as follows: following the briefing by the Auditor General of South Africa, the committee is perturbed by the concerningly high level of irregular expenditure across the portfolio. I will change that again. The committee notes that the department has established a panel to deal with consequence management and is following up on the recovery of financial loss. However, the committee remains concerned that for 2022-23 financial year, the closing balance of irregular expenditure was approximately 1.2 billion rand, of which 806 million rand or 73% has not been dealt with.
Fiona, just stop there. And can we just add, because our focus here is DSEC, dealt with, and of which, just add and of which, I think it is how many millions? Is it 1.8 or 18 million is DSEC is responsible? The DSEC, it was DSEC, it was Tara, and who was the others? But just do the DSEC one. I can't remember. Is it 1.8 million or 18 million?
I will have to check that, Chairperson.
Yes. So you can just add that amount. They are most our customer, like Honorable Mtetwa said.
Very good.
Cool.
So, Chairperson, the corresponding recommendation to that observation, I think I subdivided those into that recommendation into two. The first recommendation, the Minister should ensure that pending investigations into incidents of irregular expenditure are fast-tracked and that the Department works closely with National Treasury to resolve outstanding requests for condonation. The committee requests that the Department provides a written progress report to the committee by the end of the third quarter of 2024-25. Further, the committee requests all existing and future reports compiled by the panel established to deal with consequence management.
Honorable Mtetwa, the content advisor sounds now like the committee members. Proceed.
I agree, Chair.
Totally.
Noted, Chairperson. The second part of that recommendation, the committee recommends that matters relating to irregular expenditure be resolved as far as possible by the end of the 2024-25 financial year. And Chairperson, that can also be amended as the members have rightfully done so up to this point. Thank you, Chairperson.
Okay, that's fine. Is that all? Proceed.
Chair, Honorable Khabo here.
Honorable Khabo.
Yes, on and around this irregular expenditure, Chair, I think one of the observations that we cannot leave here is department's failure, according to the Auditor General, to deal with
consequence management.
No, apart from management, consequence management broadly is identified as part of repeating. The money is lost. He identified lack of investigation from the side of a department. So I'm sure whether how have we carried there, because that's one other observation.
Yeah, that is an important one. I agree with that one. Where can we put that one?
I accept the issue of the consequence management. My issue was that largely consequence management would deal in most cases with officials whom have not followed the law to the latter. But there is another aspect where the Auditor General speaks of us losing money because of this irregular expenditure. And yet again, we do not subject those cases into a process of investigation that will ultimately lead us either to being able to recover the money or laying criminal charges. That's why I'm reflecting on the issue of investigation. I understand on the issue of the consequence management, but I just thought that we should be clear on and around the issue of these cases that must be recovered. I'm not sure if I'm making sense on your side, Chair, because my understanding of consequence management is just broadly dealing with officials, and we're not dealing with the issue of being able to recover the money that has been lost due to this irregular expenditure, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Khaba. That
you,
point
Chair.
noted, we will put as follows.
It is covered on the, I think it is on the observation.
Yes,
that
it is covered now as well, stating that the committee recommends that the matters relating to the irregular expenditure, including all investigations and recovery of finances, financial losses. That's cool. We can proceed.
No, we can proceed, Chair. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chairperson. So moving on to 7.4, which deals with monitoring, evaluation, and reporting. The committee notes that quarterly performance reporting on certain indicators, and this should actually read in the 2023-24 annual report. Example, RSDP 2.5, number of schools, hubs, and clubs provided with equipment and or attire to enable participation in sport and or recreation. It does not correspond with the cumulative figures provided in the annual report. Then the corresponding recommendation to that observation, the department conceded and explained that the quarterly reports are based on performance information verified by the department's internal audit function, and this affects reporting when provinces do not submit information that can be verified. The committee recommends that the department improves on its reporting and indicate verified and audited compared to unaudited performance information. The committee thus requests that the department reviews its reporting format as from the 2024-25 second quarter performance report, and that due date is quarterly going forward.
Just a question from my side. I was under in the impression they said that the information was verified by the AG and not the internal finance department. Can I just get clarity?
Chairperson, thank you. It's both. So quarterly, the provinces submit information to the department, which needs to be verified by its internal audit function. And then at the end of the year, that cumulative report is audited by the AG. So
Okay,
the problem is with the quarterly reporting, where they report only on the verified information and not
by the AG.
information that hasn't been audited. Yeah.
So then information is wrong. Our argument was then right.
Chair,
Honorable Molachale?
I think what we've just raised on Tuesday, the same issue we've raised, that who's auditing the reports. They've said that the internal auditor will start first by auditing, and then after that they take the whole report as it is to the Auditor General. It's what they've explained, and I was expecting that also here.
Yeah, then they slip away with this, because then technically, but Fiona, you must help us here. Technically, that report was not right, the way we have argued. But we understand what they meant to say, listen, let's edit, it is internal. But if the AG has not even put their stamp on it, I don't know. Fiona, any response to you? I'm happy we can leave it like that, but it depends on what you're going to say as well.
Chairperson, thank you. I think you're correct. I think all information presented to the committee should be audited by the AG.
Thanks, Fiona. We can proceed. Never dull moment.
While we are on part.
Yes, Honorable Khabo.
Yes. We are that aspect of the monitoring. I think we cannot just leave it as it is. Remember, in our recommendation, in my understanding of our recommendation, we are just saying that they should improve their reporting and indicate the verified and audited information, if that is my understanding. But largely, yeah, also as a national department, we have a responsibility to oversee if provinces are implementing as per our agreement. Remember earlier on, Chair, what I'm trying to drive home is that let us not only speak of reporting. Can we also recommend that they improve their monitoring and evaluation in terms of the very same, their monitoring over provinces? Because earlier on, I had explained the part where I was saying that in most cases, we are getting unverified information, but at the same time, the Auditor General has indicated one of the root cause of not having verified information is because of ourselves as a department. We are not providing any, we are not playing any oversight over these provinces. So I wanted us to deal with these issues of monitoring over provinces. Maybe if we can be clear on that aspect, because I'm looking here on what we have recommended. It basically speaks of reporting, and yet again, we're not taking full responsibility as a department. Remember, the PFMA dictates that once we transfer the grants to provinces, we should be sure as to what is it that they are going to do with those grants. And we should equally be in a position to play an oversight in the correct implementation or spending of those grants, Chair. So I thought that that aspect also that aspect should be reflected, and also recommendations being clear around how the department should be able to improve on their standard of operating procedures, especially around for transfers, and ensure that the adherence of the agreed terms and prevent financial losses. If that can be our recommendation, and then I believe that we would have dealt with the issue of, amongst other, the Auditor General is raising in terms of monitoring and evaluation from our side as the department that oversees these entities, including these provinces. Thank you very much, Chair.
Honorable Khabo now. Hello, can you hear me? Am I audible? Did we lose Honorable Khabo?
Did you hear me, Chair? I can hear you from my side.
Oh, yes. Fiona, I think it is taken up in the explanation. If you can see there, Honorable Khabo, on the, if Fiona can just read it again.
Chairperson, I've just captured, thank you, Chairperson. I've just tried to capture succinctly what Honorable Khabo has raised. The committee expressed concerns about monitoring and oversight on provinces where grants are implemented by these provinces. The department should improve its oversight, monitoring and evaluation of all transfers to provinces by the end of the 2024-25 financial year. Does that correctly capture your concern, Mr. Khabo?
Yeah, I think that it
No,
is.
I'm fine with it. It's captured very well. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, Honorable Eugene, is that a legacy end?
No, Chair, I want to add on what Honorable Khabo has said. As he alluded to the fact that we should not allow this mediocrity from the department. I think to improve, it's a bit light. We should further state that the department must devise a strategy with clear time frames, of its monitoring and evaluation process. We shouldn't just allow it to be open, and provide such to the portfolio committee. So it becomes a template that we can use to follow up also on whether those provinces and institutions are monitoring, are monitoring and evaluating their own projects and that. Because what I have noticed with the department and any other institutions, it looks like whenever they are supposed to come and report to the portfolio committee, it is the only time that they consider retrospectively to go and monitor and evaluate things that have gone wrong. And sometimes we monitor and evaluate when the money is gone, just like we did with Sarah Batman. We realized that things have gone for too long without clear indications of that monitoring and evaluation. So let us not allow the budget to be utilized before we actually notice that there is something going wrong. So it must be maybe either it is quarterly that they present to us the monitoring, specifically the monitoring and evaluation. And I don't know what happened with the department, because previously the department would plant it's officially in every project, so that whenever there are meetings of that particular project or any entity around the project that they have been given, the official is able to report back immediately. But it seems like it's an arm's length relationship with these entities, or even the funded entities or individuals on these projects. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mtetwa. It has been edited now. The department must thus devise a strategy with a clear time frame for monitoring and evaluation, which should be forwarded to the committee on a quarterly basis. I think then we cover that. Let's go to 7.5.
Thank you, Chairperson. 7.5 deals with strategic planning. The committee has expressed concern about targets that are set seemingly without due consideration to upcoming events that may affect performance. This then leads to instances of overperformance. And the corresponding recommendation to that is that the department should, along with provinces, strive to develop improved coordinated indicators. And that is by the end of December.
I like the way it is set, but I want to be a little bit harsher on them. My observation is they act on a deja vu moment. It's happening now. Come, let's go. You know, I think that we should be very harsh in the way we want it to say. We want them to plan properly, so that they must also. Oh, okay. They say we don't plan properly because anything happen and they just jump and do whatever they want to do. I think we should put an emphasis to plan properly. We understand that things are sometimes falling without anyone's, scope or whatever. Let's say we did not expect medals in the Olympics. Here they won, and all of a sudden we have to, have them in Parliament as DSEC, and anything that happen or present them by bus throughout the streets. Those we understand, but really they are just a law unto themselves with all of these things. Yeah, I like that.
Can I get on the strategic planning also another observation, Chair?
You may.
Look, Chair, remember part of the things that we had argued is our APPs not being aligned with the strategic objective of the departments. We have identified their strategic planning processes highlighting on targets that do not really speak to the strategic or the objective of the department. And one critical example I would give you is when one of the APP reports, in fact, in one of the reports in the APP, where it was indicated that the department is spending some couple of money on promoting the departmental work. I think they did it in 3 provinces, if not mistaken. And that on its own specifically moves away from what we would want to achieve as a department that has a responsibility of building social cohesion apart from promoting sports and heritage. So I'm not sure how are we going to respond to it as a recommendation, but that observation is there, that our APPs is not aligned with our departmental objective. And partly our recommendation must be able to speak to the department presenting targets that are aligned to their departmental objectives. I'm not sure how Fiona can assist there with the proper English of honorable member.
She just did that. It is as follows, Honorable Khabo. The committee notes that in the instance APPs does not align with the strategic objective. Let's say again, this speaks to poor planning.
Yes.
Thank you for that one. 7.6, how many points still left?
Sorry, Chairperson, let me just scroll down. 7.6, 7.7, that's 2, 7.8, 3, 7.9, 4, 7.10, 5, 11, 6, 12, 7, 8.
Almost there.
Almost
8
there.
point. Okay. Let's go to 7.7.
Chair, sorry, can we, departments, can you also include these entities? Because I remember there was a in some of these entities of the department having deviated from their mandate. Can we not only speak of departments in their planning processes? Because I think in the number of entities, it was identified that they are unable to track all key indicators linked to their respective mandates. That might result also in us spending money on things that we are not supposed to be spending money on, like live spending money on non-executive directors' salaries, including payment of their offices. Remember, there was that discussion that was raised around, and it was not only the number that has proven to have deviated from their actual money, not to mention the national outcome with all the problems that are taking place.
Thanks, Honorable Khabo. It is now been taken on board. Public entities and organizations reporting to departments, APPs are not aligned. So that includes the department. Honorable Eugene Mtetwa.
Chair, I wish to suggest that maybe the Secretariat could help you with the hands so that the meeting is not only dominated by Honorable Khabo and Honorable Mtetwa. Would that be a better situation if the Secretariat does monitor whose hand is up? Because I can see now that other members are quiet and it is mostly Honorable Mtetwa and Khabo who are taking dominance of the meeting. Sorry.
No, thanks, Honorable Mtetwa. It's under control. I am in a position to see, and I also again want to invite members, if I don't see their hands, just bump in without knocking. So it reads now that the department and the entities must ensure that the targets contained within the APPs aligned with the department's strategic plan objectives. Okay, the next one.
Thank you, Chairperson. The next one deals with the implementation of the revised white paper. The committee notes with concern that the minister has halted the merger of the KwaZulu-Natal Museum with the Tsong Museums. Additionally, the amalgamation of the William Humphreys Art Gallery, that's in the Northern Cape, and the National Museum Bloemfontein, which were to be amalgamated with Izika Museums of South Africa, was withdrawn. And Chairperson, that is fleshed out in the body of the report. And based on the advice, so the corresponding recommendation or that observation, Chairperson, is that based on the advice of the National Treasury, which was to see the department implementing a shared services model to make funding available for service delivery within entities, the committee recommends a moratorium on any further withdrawals of amalgamations until it receives a report on the costs to date of the feasibility study conducted out of which these recommendations were born. Further, the committee requests a report on how the department will reprioritize funds to address any shortfall of operating costs for the entities affected by the halting and withdrawal of the mergers by the end of the third quarter of 2024-25.
Thanks, Fiona. That is plain, simple, and blunt. I would suggest that we move to the 7.7, unless there's any member who want to add something. That's very clear-cut directions.
It's well captured.
Let's move to 7.7.
Thank you, Chairperson. 7.7 deals with the implementation of infrastructure projects and the Community Library Services Grant. Just noting that the committee's previous BRRR report noted with concern the protracted timeframes and escalated costs relating to the implementation of certain infrastructure projects, including community libraries such as the Weber Gibeng library highlighted in the AGSA's report. The continued delays have resulted in an increase in resources required to see the projects to completion. Just checking if there's anything else below that. The corresponding recommendation, the committee thus requires the department to provide an updated report and the submission of its prevailing user asset management plan, UAMP as it's commonly known, on all ongoing infrastructure projects, the related projected budgets and completion dates by the end of the third quarter of 2024-25. The committee further requests to be updated on the status of the Special Investigating Unit's investigation into the libraries listed in the SIU's Proclamation 160 of 2024.
Thank you. That one also very, very straightforward with the due date similar to the previous one, unless any member would like to mention something. Then we can go to 7.8.
7.8, thank you, Chairperson. That's mass participation events, which I know has
Chairperson,
been...
sorry, this thing of network, my hand does not want to go up, but when I want to speak, it allows me. Apologies, Chair.
You may speak.
You know, Chair, on that part of our recommendation, in terms of provide an updated report, I think what we also need to emphasize on that aspect, it's remember the department said that as and when they release these funds, they provide technical support. But this technical support, it is not clear in terms of the evaluation of the correct implementation or monitoring of the correct implementation of whatever we have agreed on. And I'm not sure how explicit we can be clear. Earlier on, Honorable Mtetra said that before, department used to dispatch officials to focus on the implementation of a project. Now, my understanding of a department when it said that it provides technical support from the inception up until the completion, I thought this is what they meant, that they give the department money, probably the money will be transferred to the municipalities where the project will be implemented. They will be involved in the designs of the project that will be implemented. They will equally be involved in the bidding process. They will also be involved in the project implementation phase through being part of the project steering committee. Now, I'm not sure how we can capture it there, but my understanding or observation is that we just give out money, and at the end of the day, there is no role that we are playing there as a department to oversee that correct spending. And I'll give you a practical example. There is a project that was implemented by the department, and it was implemented in Lekwatemane, specifically in Utlwana, Christiana. They were building a library, and that library remains incomplete to date. But the money was spent there from the department, and the department was not involved in any of this process, including the monitoring aspect. When we speak of monitoring aspect to a large extent, we know that there are always like consultants who will have to verify as to whether the work that we have done is equal to the invoice that we have submitted. Where is the role that we are playing there as the people that are funding? That's what I wanted to bring on board as probably the role that we can play as part of monitoring and evaluation, Chair. Thank you very much.
Honorable Khaboy, I actually wanted to refrain from having a debate on this issue, but while you are raising it, I just want to put clarity, and for our oversight purposes, you know, the role of the department. We have, it's not the agency, what is it called, Fiona? The department is the
custodian.
The custodian. Let me explain to you quick. You should have a better understanding if you were with us to Sarah Bartman. They are the custodian. Then They are giving the money. Now they give the money to DPWI. DPWI, they receive the money. And then further we have DBSA, a Development Bank of South Africa, which is a state-owned bank. Now, DPSA can't pay the contractors. Why? Because DPW did not pay them. And if they pay DPSA, then they are reporting of financial constraints and. It is so confusing. Like you are now asking and requesting. So if I gave as DSEC money to a particular entity, there must be a complete thorough uh, oversight how that monies are being spent and been stopped. And that's why I'm saying it categorically. There's a mafia in all of these things. That's why it's DP, data custodian, DSEC. They give money to DPSI, DPSWI, and DPSWI give money to DBSA. That's where this money laundering is happening within the system. But we have addressed it, and that's why in all of our other recommendations on the role, and that's why the minister said he wants it back. He did not receive anything from DPWI. So I just want to explain how that works. But I think it also has been addressed in numerous of our things. But while you were speaking, Fiona has updated to say that we are requiring as a department that they must provide us a report including the extent of their involvement. If you give money, you have to go and have a look to see what happened to my money. They've absolutely done nothing in the issues that has been raised in this libraries as well. 7.9, no, 7.8, sorry. It is included, Honorable Khabo, thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. 7.8 is the observation and recommendation that relates to mass participation events. And I know, Chairperson, this has been a thorny issue in the committee up until Tuesday's meeting, in which the department presented a little bit of a different view on the one-day events. So I'm not sure. I've made 2 observations and 2 corresponding recommendations.
Yes, I like the observations, honorable members. I also have a problem with this, but I really am in a way to change my mind after the explanation. But Honorable Molotshane, when if I remember correctly, was the one who said bring that events to the rural areas. So that must be a very strong recommendation from this committee to bring those events to the rural areas. Then I am happy. We can go on with it as it is because
Chairperson, Chairperson, just to clarify, so I need to remove the first version of the recommendation because that was then substantiated how they implementing events such as the big walk within the provinces.
Yes.
But I still think that Ms. Molotsane's recommendation about moving some of these events to rural and peri-urban areas should be included.
Yes. Any view of any member on that? I'm happy with it. Let it stay. I don't want us to take that also out. We must raise concern. The concern actually is around the location of these events. You know, bring it like the Soweto run tomorrow. You run through the community. You stop. You have pub and you have meat on the road. Bring it to the community. But the beauty part that I like that the department said that it starts growing as almost 20,000 people there. Happy, Chappy, Honorable Eugene.
Thanks, Chair. I want to check here because I'm really jealous because all I see is sports. Nothing relates to performing arts and all the other arts, other domains. Is this only about the sports? Is it relating to sports only in terms of this mass, what is it called? Mass?
Participation.
Yeah, it's unfortunately you moved up, so I can't see. I'm talking to that item, mass participation. I know that there are also other events such as your June 16 or what, which are also a problem, that they only attract Black people, and it's not part of, they're not actually having that impact of social cohesion. So is there anything we're saying, oh, there's nothing that is happening in the arts and culture sector? Thanks, Chair.
Honorable Tetwa, I missed you for a while there. If
I can't hear you, Chair. No, I was asking, Chair. Chair, if the mass participation events are only relating to sports activities or events, because I don't see anything that speaks to arts and culture.
I got you. Let's do the second recommendation, that the committee strongly recommend that mass participation of these sex activities should not only be in sport, but also, give me the name there, pertaining to the art. Yeah, they can have a big event as well. That's a good one. Yeah, there we go. The committee strongly recommend that mass participation events should not only relate to sporting, sport, but also events such as the national. Yeah, no, that's great. But we can get the artists there to sing for us.
Please, Chair.
Yeah, that's a wonderful one. Yeah, they must change it. Those 20,000 people can get to the stadium wherever, and we can have an event of that nature. But isn't that to that? What is that event called? There is such open events. I can't remember what is it called. E something. Oh, that's wonderful. Let's go to 7.9. We're almost there. We're in our 7.9. Transformation.
Thank you, Chairperson. I think we lost you for a few seconds. 7.9 deals with transformation in sport. I think I've read through this earlier. I'll just read through it again. The committee notes that the indicator relating to transformation in sport, namely percentage.
My hand was up. I don't know whether you don't see me.
Honorable Nkosi.
Yeah, Chair, I think we take note of the recommendations that we are making as the department. Actually, Chair, I wanted to propose that the department, if they can conduct a comprehensive assessment of sports and culture, infrastructure and program availability in rural areas. And this point must reflect under the discussion of the committee.
Wonderful. Let's go back there. Just hold your word, Honorable Nkosi. At that same recommendations. There we go. That's great. You can proceed. Just give us the wording again.
Chair, I'm proposing that the department must conduct a comprehensive assessment of sports, arts, and culture infrastructure and program availability in rural areas. And this point must reflect under the discussions of the committee. And the Chair, one other thing that I want to propose, that the department must develop a targeted rural outreach strategy with specific goals for increasing facilities events and participation in undeserved regions. That are my two proposals, Chair. Thank you.
I
Recommendations.
hope we've captured that, Fiona.
I'm trying, Chairperson. I'm just finishing off the sentence here. Chairperson, I think I got the gist of the point raised by Ms. Nkosi. I just want to confirm that I did before I move on. So I'll read it. Additionally, the department must conduct a comprehensive assessment of sport, arts, and culture infrastructure in rural areas with a view to increase infrastructure and participation in these areas.
Wonderful. That's a very good one. Thank you so much, Honorable Nkosi. 7 point, are we going to 7.8 or 9?
9. It was 7.9, Chairperson.
7.9.
Okay, so I'll start from the beginning. The committee notes that the
Just a
indicated...
second, I see a hand. Honorable Khabo.
Chair, on this issue of mass participation, even though it was broadly unpacked, that includes sports, arts, and culture. One of the things that we had to raise as a concern was a duplication of events, of which largely we have seen in other provinces, national doing the very same event that provinces are doing. And in that way, it's more like a duplication of number one events, but at the same time, allowing more of like fiscal dumping in the name of creation of events, when we don't actually have an understanding as to what is it we want to achieve out of those events. Now, I think we should also find a way of incorporating, when developing our plan of events for the year, we should also incorporate the plans of provinces, so that in the process, as much as we have a problem of the department not having enough money to fund certain programs or projects, we are able to save money through events that are being done by provinces. That's one thing that I wanted to raise, because we're also raising a concern around duplication of events. So I wanted to make that a recommendation, and that one is cutting across, Chair, cutting across on sports, arts, and culture, because in a way we should equally have that understanding, Chair. That is one aspect that I wanted to raise on mass participation on events. But secondly, Chair, I'm worried as much as Honorable Mthethwa is worried on mass participation of events. Here we are speaking about sports federations working with the department. I think where we are speaking of, there's an aspect where we're speaking of the transformation of sports. And I'm just making an example of that. I'm still on this issue of mass participation of events. We work with relevant federation in terms of relevant sporting code. But when we come to the art sector, we seem not to be in a position to appreciate that these artists are also organized. And in a way, we are unable to assess our influence and impact on their lives, because of it's like we're operating in silos. They've got their view in terms of how the department should be working with them, and ourselves, we have got our own view on how we should be working with them. Yet we are claiming to be pursuing the very same objective. So I wanted to speak of, as much as the department will be working on inclusion of other aspects like sports, arts, and culture, I would propose that in a way, we should find a way of working with even federations outside the sporting code. That will enable us to make a proper assessment as to whether we're making an impact or not. Because like I've said, we have argued that sometimes we make these events, but when we make these events, we're just dumping money. There's no actual assessment or impact that we're making. And the only way of making an impact is when we begin to engage or work with these formations. And I'll make a practical example, Chair. Let me make an example.
Honorable Cabo, hold your word. Let me formulate it for you. I understand from where you are coming. Can I just formulate it for you, Fiona, that the committee recommend strongly that the department should guard against duplication of events due to the serious light of austerity measures of Parliament.
Sorry, Chairperson, you broke up for a second due to the serious light of?
Austerity measures of Parliament. Because at the end of the day, what Honorable Cabo is saying, and every member is concerned of these duplication, they are going to cut money. They are going to cut money, and we are not going to, we should not allow them to have these duplicate events. Are you happy with that, Honorable Cabo? Or you can proceed if you're not happy.
Excuse me?
You're saying, Honorable Cabo?
I said that it has captured what I wanted to drive home, Chair. Apologies for
Okay,
taking long.
cool. Okay, I'm going to give Honorable Mkhato, Honorable Molotane, and then Honorable Eugene. Noting that.
Thank you very much. It's just that sometimes I'm unable to see the program, but I just want to speak about the infrastructure. I don't know whether it's on item 3 or when. Let's go to item 3. I just want to speak about infrastructure. Where is it? It is the one which speak about infrastructure, because I wanted to say how if we can say the money must be raised even in the rural areas, also on infrastructure. So I had this opinion, but I didn't see the matter on infrastructure. That is why I now saying, do we say anything on the rural areas on the infrastructure? Because we can find that we look at the townships, but we don't know, we don't care about the rural areas. So I wanted us maybe to chip in the rural areas on infrastructure. I don't know how can you put it, but that is my thinking.
Yeah, Honorable Makato, you took us now. I'm not too sure whether there's a point. Just take us to the point. Which point that you are referring to about infrastructure?
It is captured, Chair.
Is it captured? Yes, that's why I say, honorable members, let us not take us away from. We are now back at 7.7. Yeah, it is captured.
Okay.
It is captured. Honorable Malatane.
Thank you, Chairperson. On the very same issue, Chairperson, of mass participation as well as infrastructure, I think also we need to emphasize the what is it? I want this word. We need to emphasize to work with the local government, so that it mustn't be the duty of the function only of DSEC, but also local government. We need to work in conjunction with local government in order also to assist on the very same issue of participation as well as infrastructure. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Mtetwa.
Thank you, Chair. In passing on this one, I think also we should recommend that there be a ring-fenced approach on infrastructure, like it is done with the libraries. That's because that's where the challenge is. The municipalities end up deviating the budget for infrastructure to the necessary basic service delivery of water and that. But on the issue of mass participation, I don't know also how can we also accommodate indigenous games and indigenous musical performances, because that also is not a very good investment. There's no good investment towards that. The department has got no focused program that talks to the development and growth of indigenous games and indigenous performances. Musical instruments, for instance, we only have the Mzansi Orchestra that is playing the music of Bach and other old colonial artists, but nothing that says we have an indigenous, for instance, an indigenous orchestra that uses indigenous musical instruments to create further jobs again in how to manufacture these instruments, you know, creating a market to manufacture these instruments, to create institutions to teach how to play these indigenous instruments and music that is indigenously driven. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, let's go. Let's do this, Fiona. Let the issue of that Honorable Makata raised and Honorable Molatsan, has that been covered? Can you assure us that has been covered?
Chair.
Just a second, Honorable Nkosi.
Yeah, Chair, you will pardon us, man. Maybe if the issues are covered, you will also tell us that this one is also covered, because.
But that's what I'm doing now, Honorable Nkosi. Let's deal with the issue first that has been mentioned about the facilities.
Okay, you'll note me then, because I want to come after then. There's one issue that I want to raise as well.
Okay. Okay, so that the facility one is it covered, Fiona?
Chairperson, I have attempted to cover what Ms. Molatani and Mr. Mtetwa have raised.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
okay,
in addition.
Yes.
The department should plan with provinces and local government to eliminate the duplication of events within sport, arts and culture sector. The committee strongly recommends that the department guards against the duplication of events due to the serious light of austerity measures. The department should ensure, working with provinces, that funding for mass participation events are ring-fenced and not used for other purposes.
Okay, and now let's take
participation.
Okay, let's take the one of Honorable Makata and Honorable Molatane on the.
Sorry, Chair. That part is not correct. The last part is not correct. I'm not talking about ring-fenced budgets for participation, but for infrastructure.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, then it covered Honorable Makato and Molatane's.
Yes.
Is that right, Honorable Nkosi?
Chairperson, I think I'm covered, because I was coming to request that a dedication funds or budget be allocated specifically for rural areas. But I'm covered now. Yes, I'm covered. Thank you.
Thanks, Honorable Nkosi. Let's go to 7 point. Just go to 7.8 for me. Work provinces due to serious light of the department should prepare budget allocation, one-day events, make available program to supply athletes. In addition, the department should plan with provinces and local government to eliminate the duplication of events within the sport, arts, and culture sector. The committee strongly recommends the department guards against duplication events. Okay, that's fine. But where's the one that we said that it must be catered for arts and culture, not just sports only? Isn't it this one? Exclusive, yeah, and perhaps include can we include the indigenous games there? Upscotch, Keniki. There we go. 7.9, honorable members.
May I proceed with 7.9, Chairperson?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. 7.9 deals with transformation in sport. I will read it.
Chairperson. Chair. Chairperson.
Proceed. Sorry, I was stuck.
Yeah, you are talking. It's Mrs. Nkosi, Chair. Honorable Nkosi.
Proceed, Honorable Nkosi.
I didn't see on the screen maybe the time frame that the content advisor has put there for these issues that we have raised on the rural areas. Did you put something on that? I didn't see it. Because I feel, Chair, that we must get a progress report with regards to that, the programs that you are talking about on expanding in rural areas. I don't know how can we say it, or maybe there'll be a way of reporting to us the progress regarding the issues that you are raising now.
Yeah, maybe we can just add, you see, that goes along with that program, but I'm happy to add that we add, Honorable Nkosi, you know, that we be informed on the
progress.
On the progress,
on the progress
yes.
made, yes. Because if we leave it open, Chair, we want to know what is happening. I feel that it will be very much important to get a progress report regarding that. For the issues that you are raising.
I agree, Honorable Nkosi.
It's there, Chairperson. It's 31 December 2024.
Oh, it's there. It's there, Honorable Nkosi.
If it is there, Honorable Mthethwa, thank you so much. I was worried if we leave it open. Thank you.
You can proceed, Fiona.
Thank you, Chairperson. 7.9, the committee notes that the indicator relating to transformation in sport, namely percentage of national federations, meeting 50% or more of all prescribed transformation targets, has been removed from the revised
Chair, there's nothing on the screen. Can the content advisor fly to the program that she's reporting on? It is on the screen. I don't see it in my screen. I don't know what is happening.
Is it on now? Members, can the other members see that? I can see it on both my screens.
I don't know, other members.
Yes, we can see.
We can see. I can see it.
Okay. I don't know what is happening on mine because I don't see anything.
Honorable Nkosi, maybe if you can go out of the meeting and come in again. Proceed.
Thank you, Chairperson. So this target has been removed.
I can hear you.
Sorry, Chairperson, one of the members called for you.
Oh, Eugene.
Thank you, Chair.
I'm covered now, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Go please, Honorable Eugene.
Yeah, that is fine. The transformation in sports, it's fine. I'm still again worried that it speaks to sport. Maybe another recommendation could be also that the arts and culture aspect of the department still has no targets for the charter for transformation. And therefore the department must devise also a strategy or a charter that has targets on transformation of this arts and culture sector.
I agree. You know, the issue of transformation is really wide, very, very wide. It entails a lot of things. And now that we have various members on this committee with various interests, it makes it very easy for us to identify in and around those issues surrounding transformation.
I hope Honorable Jacobs is still here. He's not on TikTok.
No, he's alive and well. Thank you very much. I've read through the report, so I agree with most of it. It's the committee's report.
I'm kind of wondering why there's nothing about social media measurements, especially for Honorable Jacobs.
No, like I said, it's the committee's report. So this is our report, and most of it here, from what I've read through the entire report, seems logical and is things that the department should take on board. So
yes.
That's why I've been silent. You know, if you don't have anything of quality to say, then you mustn't say it. If the quality is there, you acknowledge the quality.
I'm pulling your leg because the minister specifically pointed out.
He looked for you.
No.
Was that meeting recorded? Because I tried to go and see specifically for that part, just for you, Honorable Jacobs, but I don't know if that one was recorded.
I found it on PMG. I found it very interesting to witness being fought in my absence. That was prime shadow boxing.
Don't worry, we had your back.
Yeah, we defended you so well.
No, thank you.
Okay, honorable members, welcome from a very lovely break. Let's go to 7.10.
Thank you, Chairperson. Just I tried to capture Mr. Mthethwa's concern about transformation in arts and culture, that part of the sector. I just need to get clarity on a time frame for by when the department should do something similar for arts and culture.
Yeah, Honorable Mthethwa, is there a time frame that you want to suggest? For me, transformation is ongoing.
By end of this financial year, they should have at least a documented strategy so that they are able to budget for in the next financial year. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. 7.10, is that the last one?
No, Chairperson, we still have up to 7.13.
Okay, the last three left. Proceed, 10.
Thank you, Chairperson. 7.10 deals with the development and promotion of sport in rural areas and at grassroots level. The committee underscored its concern regarding the promotion and development of sport in townships and rural areas. This concern also encompasses the construction and upgrading of sporting infrastructure and the ability to assess sporting facilities, and the need to establish sport academies in under-resourced areas. This came up in Tuesday's meeting.
Yeah, and it's also mentioned by Honorable Makata, so it's covered. and Honorable Nkosi, it's covered. Let's do the next column.
Okay, sure. 7.11, governance in the sector, and I think Mr. Mtetwa raised this earlier. The committee observes with concern that the department has still not finalized the appointment of the National Council for Library and Information Services panel. The delay in the finalization has a bearing on the function of library and information services within the sector. The committee requests that the NCLIS panel be finalized by the 30th of November 2024. And then further to that, the committee has also taken cognizance of the fact that the call for nominations to boards, sorry, I need to fix the sentence, to boards of several public entities has been re-advertised. The committee requests a report on the need for the re-advertisement, progress made in respect of these re-advertised calls, as well as the governance implications at these entities. That's also by the 30th of November 2024.
Thank you, Chair. We are not requesting. If I was in the union, I would say we demand, but we recommend that that the department speedily finalizes the appointment of board, strategic board. It finalizes the appointment of boards in all the sector federations and public institutions.
Yeah, I agree. Let's do the whole collective. Although safe to say, he argued that everything has been advertised, but let's put it on paper. Then we go to the second last point, honorable members. We are doing well. Safe to say that we are 1.5 hour exceeded our time. 7.12.
Sorry, Chairperson. 7.12 is heritage resources management. The committee notes with deep concern the long-standing varying performance levels of some provincial heritage resources agencies and municipalities. In respect of heritage management, which impedes safeguarding and preserving national heritage. And this came out in the meeting with the South African Heritage Resources Agency, who said they are developing, or they have developed and are implementing a heritage resources management coordination plan. But it is imperative that the department works with the provincial departments to realize an effective PRA in every province, as it will reduce obstacles to SARA's ability to fulfill its mandate. The committee thus recommends that the department provides a report on the state of the PRAs by the end of the 24-25 financial year to assist the committee to make appropriate budgetary recommendations in the 2025-26 financial year. Chairperson, just to note that this has been an ongoing concern since time immemorial.
Yeah, I agree, and one could have sensed this during our engagements with them. And this is also one that I would highly recommend for members of this committee to keep a close eye on this particular issue. I remember, I think it was Honorable Jacobs that raised a particular issue here of concern. I can't remember, but can't remember the name of this particular issue that he raised when they appeared before us. But this, members, is very straightforward. It's factual, it's crisp, and it's authentic. I don't think you can add anything except that I would strongly recommend every one of us to keep a close eye here on the provincial heritage resources, because to a greater extent, some of these provincial heritage resources, it just slipped away from us as far as our oversight and monitoring is concerned on this issue. I think Honorable Jacobs also asked a question to Parliament on a particular issue here. I just can't recall. But anyhow, that brings us to 7.13 members. The last point.
It was, Chairperson, it was the Battle of Salt River. That's
There
what
we go, the Battle of Salt River. You see, I'm having an elephant brain. I know who it was. 7.13.
Thank you, Chairperson. And this is recommendations to the Minister of Finance. So the previous recommendations we dealt with were to the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture.
Before you read the recommendation to the Minister of Finance, take us to the process. What's happening if we do that? If we, what, is he forced? Does he have to only consider or take note? Just take us for members' interest through the process of that before you read the recommendations.
Sure, Chairperson. So once this report is adopted by the House, it gets then forwarded to the Minister of Finance, who then has to report in his budgetary review report. He has to respond to all recommendations made by the portfolio committees. And the ministry has been doing this conscientiously. And I think I have included a previous recommendation that was made in the 6th administration to the Minister of Finance and his response to that, which actually dealt with operational shortfalls within public entities, to which the Minister of Finance responded that it's the department's prerogative to reprioritize funds to ensure that public entities have sufficient funds to deal with operational shortfalls.
Thank you so much, Fiona, for that. I just want to respond to that. Members, can you see how powerful this committee is when it comes to these kind of things and dealing with the treasurer and other? So everything is not in vain. We should not give up and do what is best for us. And I always say it, and I like to say, if and when we are no more there and some research have been done, people will go in. And I want to share this with you. I'm a little bit out of order now. I met one deputy minister I studied with at Wits, an ANC deputy minister. And she says to me these words. I was like, wow. She said, "Hey, Madlua, I see your committee is working." I felt so humble. And it was an actual fact without her knowing that. It's for me, I see that as a compliment to the committee. She said, "I see your committee is working." So members, everything is not in vain. Don't give up. Don't give up. I wanted particular Fiona to explain this to us so that we mustn't give up when it comes to this. Over to you, Fiona, on the recommendations.
Yes, thank you, Chairperson. So recommendation 7.13 deals with the implication of cost containment measures on the departmental vacancy rate. The committee notes that cost containment measures are still in place for 2024-25, specifically in relation to the cost of employment, and this stifles the department's efforts to reduce its vacancy rate. The committee further notes that the department has made a request for an adjustment budget for 2024-25 of 10 million rand. However, which is still not sufficient to address staffing deficiencies and will have implications for service delivery. The corresponding recommendation is that the Minister of Finance works with the department to implement the necessary budget adjustments to address staffing deficiencies, and that's by the end of December 2024. And then the second part, Chairperson, second part of that recommendation to the Minister of Finance and this is dealing specifically with public entities. The committee has heard appeals of several entities that require additional funding to address deficiencies in their operational budgets, including but not limited to Mandela Bay Theatre Complex, the Amazwi Museum, the South African Library for the Blind, and the South African Heritage Resources Agency. The committee notes the minister's response to the 2023 BRRR, which indicates that additional funding to public entities will have to be done through reprioritizing funds within departmental allocations. The corresponding recommendation by the committee is that the Minister of Finance works with the department to identify funds to be reprioritized for further support to the operational costs, including cost of employment for all public entities, and that is by the end of December 2024. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. That is also very straightforward. Can you do the closure of it? The end?
Thank you, Chairperson. Just to read through the conclusion quickly.
The conclusion.
The Portfolio Committee on Sport, Arts and Culture has compiled this BRRR not only to assess the financial and non-financial performance under Vote 37, but also to craft a way forward for the strategic direction it wishes to undertake regarding the future of the sector during the 7th administration and potentially beyond. And that refers to the legacy report and recommendations coming out of that at the end of this administration. The committee has raised concerns in several areas of performance and service delivery, including the regression in the audit outcomes for the portfolio. I will change that. And the delays experienced in the completion of key infrastructure projects. The committee will endeavour to monitor the department and its entities with respect to the implementation of recommendations made by the Auditor General of South Africa. And the committee has made several recommendations to the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture. The Minister, along with the department's senior management team, need to heed these recommendations, implement them expeditiously, and report on its implementation. And then I just include that in case there are any reservations to the report. And then it's just a note of appreciation, list of abbreviations, and that is the end of the report, Chairperson. Thank you.
Fiona, may I say thank you, and thank you to everyone who have contributed to this report. I therefore, honourable members, put to you the consideration and the adoption of the BRRR report in front of us, BRRR report in front of us, and also ask for members for the adoption and approval of this report. And also would like to give an opportunity to any member who have reservations on this report. Please do so, declare your reservations. But I'm putting this report forward for adoption, forward for proposal, and a seconder for this extensive report that has been prepared by the content advisor, and then that also entails the work and the inputs in the respective various engagement with the respective various entities in the department. Is there any proposal that we...
Chairperson,
Honorable Molachane?
ke a leboha modulasetulo. Ke phamisa reporto for adoption, Chairperson.
Ke a leboha, Honorable
Chairperson, Honorable Mthethwa, I
That is-
second the adoption of the report.
Thank you, Honorable Mthethwa. Honorable Nkosi, you want to put your stamp on it as well?
Yeah, no, Chair, thank you very much. I wanted to support my colleagues with regards to the adoption of the report and request, Chair, that since we have made a lot of amendments, maybe after the content advisor has, after we have adopted the content advisor, maybe, I don't know whether she sent us that report so that you can see that our recommendations were all put in the program, but we fully agree with the
Yes.
report and adopted. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Nkosi. I can just assure you that all the inputs during this meeting, I'm having my laptop in front of me and my phone. And as we went, I understand and I know that some members could not perhaps see, or some are on their smaller gadgets, their phones. But I can vow to it that every single thing that has been mentioned and the request from every single member has been included in the report. And we will take it from there. And I believe that Fiona is taking note. That brings us to another issue. So we can close this, we adopt this, it is proposed, it has been second. It brings me to another issue, honorable members. And I would like Zoleka to give us just a crisp explanation on the developments on the issue of next week, the 8th of November, the letter that has been gone through, any responses, because we have applied for this particular event next week, and there are two directives. One, maybe the department will, we will get, paid from our budget. And there was another proposal as well that we used perhaps only our flights entitlements to fly there. Over to you, Zoleka, if you have any information back in this regard.
Yes, Chairperson, I do. I did forward the email that we received from the Office of the House Chairperson. In the email, he indicates that the parliamentary practice is that members pay for attending matches, and therefore he is not approving the trip chair.
Yeah, but it is not just for the match. We were supposed to have a meeting on the High Performance Center. And then we were invited to this particular event as a committee.
That is correct, Chair, and that is indicated in the application, and the Office of the House Chair even asked for the time of the meeting, but in their response, they are disregarding that. I'm not sure if Chair can maybe engage the House Chair on this to get more details.
Yeah, you see, I don't want to stand with my head in my hand for this particular event, especially mention that members pay when they attend events. That's not the case. The committee are being invited to this event, the cricket event. So, I think it's about the accommodation perhaps, but the crux of the matter is it falls under the fact that we go there. We go there to have an oversight on the high performance, and then we were supposed then also to sleep over. I don't know. That's maybe the way I see it. If we had to go watch the event, we should pay for our accommodation. That's how I see that.
Chairperson.
Honorable Nkosi?
No, Chair, I think we welcome the report from Mamzo, but I would love to request you, Chair, to engage the House Chair with regards to that. Probably, if maybe you talk to him and elaborate further the purpose of the trip, he might change his mind. I think that's what I want to propose, that please engage him and explain further as to why are we going there and what is it that you are going to do there. Because maybe on his mind, there is this thing that you are just attending the game, you want to be there just for a game, of which it's not like that. So that's what
Yeah,
I'm
but
asking
our
from you.
letter,
Thank you.
Honorable Nkosi, our letter makes it very clear that we are going for an oversight on the high performance, and it was on a request by the Cricket South Africa itself. It wasn't us. And then following that high performance event, we were then invited to the game. So I don't think it's a question of members pay going there. That actually is not true. Members don't pay. The members are invited. Members get across the board tickets to attend some of these games.
Sorry, Chairperson, but I think Honorable Ngozi did speak the right thing. Just go there and show him the proposed agenda. And then he must be able to understand that we are not going for the trip also only. So I think Honorable Ngozi is quite right. Just go to him or her, then speak to him, then I think you will come with the new proposal.
Is there any other member that have something to say about this? You see, I think it is also, about the budget, because I think in that proposal that we've made was there is members that will be able to sleep in Johannesburg, and we cannot just go there as members as well. The professional staff must go with us. They are the individuals who must take note and observations. We should not be in a position to deal with such a high profile content of a triple R if we were alone in all of these meetings. So I am strongly of the opinion that the professional staff should accompany us there. So I don't.
Chairperson,
Yes.
I think Honorable Nkosi has just made it clear. Sometimes writing an email, it's not making someone to understand clearly what you want to achieve. But go in there physically, talk to the house chair, explain everything. I'm telling you, he will understand the reason for this trip. This trip is not only to attend the game, like as you've just said. We have an oversight. It's an invite from the Cricket South Africa. I think the best way, Chairperson, go explain everything physically, because sometime writing the email, that email find me not in a good space, and I'm going to read it according to my feelings that I am at that time. So my proposal to you, Chair, do it physically, meet with the house chair, even if you can phone the house chair, just to talk, to explain everything. I thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you. I'll think I'm going to phone him. I'm not in a position to go and see him personally. But even Zoleka was with Mr. Bundy on this issue, and for me the indication or the letter and everything was crystal clear. Isn't that, Zoleka?
Yes, Chair, that is correct. I even submitted both the invitations to the meeting and to the game.
Chairperson.
Let me give Honorable Sali, then Honorable Nkosi.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I'm just thinking about this letter. I don't know if it was left open to some form of interpretation or the mindset was different when the person read it. But I do agree with you that I think it would be best for you to explain and clarify to the individual what this particular oversight is actually about. And then, like other oversights that we've done, even internationally, when we have oversights in certain meetings, they would, for example, take you to the National Museum or whatever, also so that we can understand the culture. So, for example, in this situation, to see things firsthand in operations as well, it might be a cricket game, but we're going to see much more out of the box and affiliated to the work that we are doing. So I think that on that side, Honorable Chair, you are in the best position to speak to the relevant decision makers as well further to that letter and get a response as soon as possible, because we have a week left. All of us will obviously be utilizing our own flights that we do have. Then obviously it's the accommodation that will be problematic. And I do agree that we do need all of the staff with us to do the oversight, or otherwise it would not be a proper oversight. Thank you.
Thanks, Honorable Members. Let me see what I can do. I will try and phone Honorable Frolic on this issue and then revert back on the group. But I don't think the invitation should be seen as an invitation that we want to be there and sleep and go see. That did not come from us. Okay, let me see what I can do. I will further communicate it to you guys over the WhatsApp group. Thanks, honorable members. That brings us to the end of this meeting. And thank you so.
Excuse me, Chair.
Yes.
Ms. Nkosi wants to say something.
Nkosi.
You noted me after Honorable Sally. Chair, I wanted to support you that we must take the support staff with us. There's no way that we can leave our support staff behind when we do this oversight. Second to that, Chair, I want us to confirm to you that with regards to entitlements, we are going to use our entitlements. So the
letter says so as well.
Sorry?
The letter of us to Honorable Frolic says that.
Yes, that is why I'm saying we want to confirm that, Chair, that the only thing that we need from them is transport and accommodation, just transport from where we are to the place and accommodation. But with regards to entitlements, we will use our own. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Honorable Nkosi. Thanks so much, honorable members. Honorable members, I declare the meeting then closed, and we'll definitely come back to you regarding next week. Thank you so much.
No, Chair, on a lighter note, thank you very much for the meeting.
Thank you.
But the last time,
Thank you. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you, Chair.